Hello, I am the Ronan Pawn. Welcome to a twitch.tv/Ronan Pawn live stream on twitch.tv/Ronan Pawn. Joined today by special guest Bags, my producer, who's alternatingly poking me in the knee and licking himself, as we expect from our producer Bags. Welcome to Clustertruck. Ah, shit, I missed Laser. Oh well. Yeah, I think you did. I'm getting really confused now because I started editing the PBs and I'm editing them out of order, but I'm pretty sure we took third rank in Laser World. So we're on to Medieval, which we've been to not too long ago, and it's a hell of a segment, let me tell you. So I'm at 5th right now with a 1 minute 22 second time. Next rank up with Snakeathon is 1:16. That's a big drop already. That's over 4, so it's less than 4 seconds. But it's about 4 seconds between those two, betwixt those twain, and then the next drop, it needs another 8 seconds. So we need 12 seconds in order to take 3rd from TF. That's a huge ask, but we've got some pretty powerful new techniques. Will they be of any benefit in Clustertruck? We can only find out by opening the game and playing it. Thank you, Noah. That's for opening the game. Yeah, get back to scratching me in the leg and trying to get my attention. Ow. Ow. He's gentle, relatively speaking. His claws are only out like a little bit. Like a little bit out, and then he's... Yeah. Okay, you can, with the music, though, can go away. We don't actually require the music. Thank you. Oh, no. Clustertruck is not responding. Whatever will I do? So yes, into the game. I have, incidentally, last live stream I was giving away free copies of Clustertruck for each PB that we took. I have more copies to give away, but I just don't want to do it every live stream. It's, you know, it's a thing, and it really works for bringing people in, too. But, makes me a little bit uncomfortable to do, you know, constantly. So we'll do it until the keys are gone. And then I actually have more keys that I probably haven't given away because Tiny Build was very generous throughout the years giving me keys to give away on stream, and then I'd do it a little bit, and then I'd forget, and then I don't know where I left off, and I don't... Anyway. Today, no freebies. This could be a hard earn. So, World 5, Medieval World, this is, when I first started learning knowability, I thought of as the RNG world. It's nasty. It's nasty in terms of all the things that can happen here when you're just trying to learn how to run through it. And then you figure out, over time and by practice, like how to avoid all of the things that could happen. Is the timer running correctly? No, it's not. Alright, yep, didn't expect it to. Also, don't expect that we're going to... There's going to be a lot of levels here where this new technique of the baby paws bounce off the windshield doesn't actually help us, because there are better techniques out there. But if we can find that they'll match or meet and provide consistency, even if we lose half a second, but we can get consistency out of it, that's, you know, I'm more than happy to start there. So I'm just running through it and trying this on every level for a little while and seeing what it will get and how that will stack up to, you know, past PBs. Okay? That's not going to help me see how it stacks up against past PBs if I don't, you know, do it. There we go. Honestly, you could say that about the entire game. I feel nowadays there's not a level that I feel like is really bad. Well, back in the day I complained about like half of them being really bad RNG. Yeah. This was a nasty-ass level, and still when you're running through it in knowability, like, we've got ways to get around it, but you can still see how bad the RNG gets in this level. But then you memorize the 7,000 different patterns across 10 levels, and you're like, oh, it's very consistent. Okay, I do need to be getting these in full and meaningfully, I think. You know, I need to take my time setting them up, or maybe not. Maybe I just need to rush them and do it. This is one of the levels that's, in order to do it in the fastest way possible, you gotta do an incredibly difficult thing. We'll get to it because I'm gonna end up being forced to do it, but I just want to see what's like. Is there a maximum potential? of what we could accomplish with this method. That's not the best it could be. Oh my god, I'm alive though. If I glance off the side of that, okay, I didn't, but I did drop a truck, so we're through it anyway. And then you... Wow, that's... What level is this? Oh, it's 7, that's right. Or 8. This is what I was expecting. This is what I thought. I thought I was already to 5-9. Because 5-9 is going to be either you do one of these, you go over, under, and come through, or you just got to do the really hard method. So if you do this, you don't get caught by that. Another thing would be, what if I did like that, then went immediately into this kind of strafe, went around, came back to the ground, dropped a truck and brought it in, that's a 9. And then this has got to be the way that it's always been, I would think. Hang on. That's not, yeah. You would need this to be incredible to even be possible of getting the places that we want to get in a faster time than you can get by setting up the PTV. I'm too low. Oh, I got it. Alright. Technically, I got it. We did get 2 golds. 5, 6, and 5, 8 are showing evidence that this could be a faster method for them. Hello, Like89. Hey, Pawn, how's it going? It's going. It's going... It's been a good day so far, I suppose. I'm spending too much of my day starting it with Twitter, but it's come to feel like just reading the newspaper. You know, I don't get my news from Twitter, but I get indications of the fact that there is news from Twitter, and then what interests me, I go and look for the news online, and then I have trouble because the New York Times is a fucking for-profit company that my god, the links they go to keep you out of being able to read the news from them these days. So you know, there's certain sources I just can't go to, don't go to, and I have a lot more respect. I think it's the Washington Post, WAPO, because their articles are just there, man, and they do good work, and they write full fucking, you know, they're not dumbing themselves down for mass exposure either. I think it's the Washington Post that I'm thinking of. Could be the AP, but I think it's WAPO. Yeah, I saw all the Twitter posts. Yeah, you know. I feel good interacting, engaging, and that no one ever responds. Rarely. Alright, so Summer Best is down from a 112, I think, that we started with, to a 111 just after that one little nothing run. Let's bank that time, and let's get in here and see what we can do when we start to get serious. Which, I'll let you know when I start to get serious. It's only a 7, so that's not great. 5-2. I think we can improve 5-2 with this method, probably. 5-3 seems highly usable. 5-4 as well. Gotta take my time, set it up, get it right, and go straight to goal off of it. 5-5 also. You know, even if there are setups that take it to the outside of the level on these shorter levels, you're probably going to be able to equal it just by doing it quick. And here's that 5-7 again. Didn't really get enough out of it, but we're fine. I'll just do this. It's plausible. It can be used. Damn it! Stuck on the level complete screen there somehow, or on the pause menu. And then I'll show you what I'm supposed to do that I don't know how. That. I'm supposed to do that. And I know I've done it before, but it is not an easy thing. In no sense an easy thing, and this will be one of those where it's like you need it. Probably to PB here. 7.3 through when I finally get it. Now, this is the other one that I have more difficulty with than anybody else for no particular reason. That came in nice. One is, alright, here's the reasons. One is that the building hitboxes are larger than the buildings, so you die well before you're actually touching the building, so you gotta leave a little bit of width on that corner, even though you're trying to cut it as fast as possible to get it in. Second is, I just have, I don't know, I tend to get a hit that throws me to the right and into the building, and I die there instead of getting through, so I'm sure we'll see that. That's 2 more golds into the bottom half of 1/11 seconds off of those, 5.3 and 5.4. I still think we can PB 5.2 in these splits as well with this method, and a lot of the other ones that I fucked up on. So we just keep running. We're just warming up, and we're just trying out methods. We're just trying out the new method in particular. Should I be entering from here? Okay, well, don't get stuck on the pause screen, because that looked good. This is a little slow, I think. Yeah, 7.2, not great. 5.2 didn't get all of it. If I do, I think we'll gold on it. 5.3 looks good. Oh, we did gold on it, and I didn't get all of it. Shit. You're walking off the front of it. I don't know if you've noticed or not. Ooh, this is interesting. I wanted to glance it and go to gold. It would have been cool. Another gold. We are now sub 111 in the sum of best. This is low and slow. Shall I show you what I'm intended to be doing here? Come out here, come to you, lev, get hit, and go to goal off of that. And it's not that hard either, once you get it in your hand. But I have to relearn this one every time. It's very, I don't know, it feels very different than anything else that I would usually be going for a PTB. This one comes in slower, and that's nowhere near what we can get out of it, is the thing. I believe this can be a 5, 6, maybe even lower, I don't know. But I also remember that when I was grinding this, I would get bored and start putting in the pause version of it, and that entertained me by doing that stuff. Trying to get that out. But you spend so much time setting it up that it really has to come in, or else it's a complete waste and a reset. And that's a low 6. In comparison to the 7 we were getting before with the other method, something like that. I mean, we're 0.7 ahead immediately, so there you go. Okay, I need to set those up faster, not question myself so much, and not feel the need to reset coming into every one of these. They don't all need it. That was a beautiful 5.4. No lev and out. Beautiful 5.5 also. Decent 5.6. And this is that one where we're going to lose a lot of time. Oh, we're going to lose a lot of time. But even if that wouldn't have happened, we were going to lose a lot of time by trying to bring it in with this method instead of the correct method. So when I come into this next one, I want to hit it coming across like that, and then try and go around and outside. Drop a truck. Lev, die. Beautiful. Wow! Look at how much time there is to save that we were still green after the 5.7. Damn. What's wrong with you, Pawn Sister Racer? The doctors don't know. I've got an appointment with a psychiatrist. What do you... Actually, I haven't made the appointment with the psychiatrist yet. What do you mean, though? What are you talking about? Another gold down to 110.28 in the sum of best. A lot of time to save. Yeah. And that's good, because we need, 12 seconds of it to take second, I think. And we're going to have to do that 5-1 open. Not what I just did, the correct one, which sucks. Because it's just a pain. It's a hassle. It's a lot of resets to try and get something. Go this side. Fuck. Don't be missing them, you silly man. Yep, 5.6 I might want to reset coming into it. Tends to leave me a little bit high. My approach seems weird. So 5.7 is where we should be losing a lot of time. But with this one, maybe not. A 9.1 isn't bad for not pulling out the intended strat. Gotta go this way. This is beautiful. I can stay on the outside and come back to the goal. And then 510. Just gotta get this. And I missed it entirely for a loss of a PB. There you go. Hit! And even with the death reset, we were only 1.1 seconds behind it. That's a new gold on 5.9, so it works on 5.9. I don't have to do the harder thing on 5.9. 5.1, I think I'm going to have to do the harder thing. But this is looking good for us. Wow, some of us just dropped down to 108 from a low 110 to a high 108. Damn. It's tragic. It's tragic. The sucks. They're tragic. You know, you know my reference? Who knows my reference? Come on, somebody's got to know my reference. Look at his socks. The socks. They're tragic. He doesn't even say the socks. What is the goal time? What I am aiming for, I mean, I would love to take TF's rank, so it's a 108.7 or less is what we're looking for to take third, and we're starting from a 122, which I don't know if you could do the math on that. It's breaking my brain, but it's like 12 seconds or something like that I need to save. So there's a lot of seconds that need saved if that's going to happen. And if it's going to happen, then I need to start getting this on the regs. And I think what I need to do is commit to the idea that I've got directionality coming across here. So if I throw the truck in such a way that it'll cancel that directionality, then we'll end up, meeting in the middle, sort of. That was a horrible start, but we've got a long way to go, so I might take some horrible starts. We want a sub 6, ideally, but we'll take a 6. Damn it. 14 seconds? Is it 14? Is that how the math was working there? There we go. That's for a nice 6-4 to start, and then just, actually pause at the right place. That wasn't it. This is slow for what we can get out of it. 5-3 is a nice little boost and bounce and end. 5-4. It's my bad. I know of at least 2 things I did poorly there. 5-5, I'm going to reset coming in for some reason. I guess that's the reason. I tried to reset. It looked like I reset. You can actually reset from the level complete screen if you do it at the right time, and you won't see, what we saw there. So that's what I was hoping for. This 5-7, though, this one's got to be gotten the way that I just got it. If I'm going to go all the way to goal on it, I got to get it like that, and it's got to come in with a sub 10. A low 9 is really what we're looking for. So that one's got, it's very specific what's needed. That sucks. Alright. A little bit of that, and we'll just bring it into 5-10 so I can get some practice. That's not great, but it's fine. For a 10-4 to clear, and 4 seconds time loss. Did I have resets in there? Or was it just generally a slow clear of 5-10? Probably the second one. Okay, shouldn't be long before we see some PBs, but it really does depend on whether or not one of these levels ends up being a sticky point for me, or I just can't get it through. Which happens pretty regularly in the segment speedrun. On a certain level where it's like, oh, it's fine, it's working. I thought that was going to be harder, and then a couple of minutes later you're going, it's exactly as hard as I thought it was going to be, son of a bitch. This was a beautiful 5-3, though. And this 5-4 looks real good, too. Five's just average. Reset into 5-6, and then fuck it up. Anyway. Fuck it up twice even. Fuck it up 3 times. Hey, let's just go over here for fun. Another gold on 5-3, 108.81. How do you feel about the debt ceiling? They're gluing my debt to the ceiling now? Jesus Christ. They really want me to feel pressured under it, huh? What debt ceiling? What are we talking about? Are we imagining that there's some kind of debt ceiling here? Isn't the country... I mean, if you're talking about federal finance, aren't we 26 trillion in debt right now? Isn't that... What debt ceiling? A ceiling implies that it would stop. That there would be a top, you know? People talk about a glass ceiling. They're not talking about an infinite, always up, there's just headroom for days kind of a thing. There'd be a top. You'd hit your head on it. What debt ceiling? What are you talking about? Come on, green screen is a bit aft. You know, it's been that way for a while now, hasn't it? It showed up like that on multiple live streams. I think it's just gotta be the webcam's gotta be moved down a little bit on its angle. And it's always tricky moving the webcam. You move it, you try and move it a little bit, and you're gonna get a million miles. Alright. That seems to function. Thank you for calling my attention to that, because it's been showing up in more and more recordings of the live stream, and I look back and go, ah! So, while people are watching this, it's gonna look like somebody broke their screen the entire time. Cool. To get you ranting so you run better. That's a good tactic, man. I remember when it was only 13 trillion. Crazy that it's doubled since then. I remember when there was a budget surplus. Yeah, that's how old I am. I wasn't old enough to really know what that meant, but I remember I was alive for Clinton. I remember when we weren't in debt at all, when we actually had more. And, you know, it made for a good talking point for Republicans to be like, if we have more than we're spending, then why are we taxing people so much? Start giving them their taxes back. Then we started doing that, and then we got $26 trillion in debt. So, you know, if we ever start to get out of debt, whatever you do, don't listen to the fucking Republicans, is what I'm gonna say. You know? Listen to them argue that, you know, because we've got an extra $200 billion this year, we should, make sure that rich people get to keep $7 trillion. It turns out it doesn't work out in the long run, has been my personal experience. Okay, that's good speed. No, it's not. It sucks. I think I can get it out anyway, but I'm gonna drop a truck to make it happen. Okay, just a decent 5.8. Nothing to write home about, I don't think. You this over. I'm gonna have to drop a truck again. I almost forgot. I did forget how to do this. I did forget where we were, actually, is what happened there. This could be a PB. This is not a good 5:10, but we've got so much time.
Run faster, jump higher.
That we can lose 2.3 seconds and still come in with a PB. Huh? Maybe this is why I decided not to give away free copies of Clustertruck with every PB today, because there's probably going to be like more than I have copies of Clustertruck to give away. Sum of best down to 10881 at this point. 1 minute 22nd is our new PB, and we've been here for 25 minutes. What is that on the leaderboards? No change of rank. We need another 4 seconds. Another, yeah, exactly 4 seconds. You know, 3/10 of a second, notwithstanding. But exactly 4 seconds to take Snakeathon's rank there. And we clearly could have had it. Did you pay for all the copies of Clustertruck? No. They were given to me by the publishers of Clustertruck, Tiny Build. The developers are Landfall, the publishers are Tiny Build, and I believe at time present that Landfall is now publishing their own games, but this one came out through Tiny Build, and Tiny Build is like one of the few, I think it's the only publisher in gaming that I would say they have a good eye and seem to be generally, you know, for the consumer and just trying to publish good games and help them get out there and help promote games that have a lot of interesting stuff in them that are worth promoting. So Tiny Build has throughout the years sent me many copies of Clustertruck to give away on stream, and I've probably given away all of half of what they've given me in the past, but they did it recently when they saw that I was streaming again, and I said thanks, and now I'm giving them away. Can you get this game on Steam? Says Dirt Race. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I was giving away the other day was Steam copies of Clustertruck. And in fact, Lady Pawn asked me, what does Clustertruck go for? You know, it's Steam Clustertruck. On Steam these days, and I had no idea. What's it sell for these days? $14.99. If you want the OST, the original soundtrack, 1858, you can actually find that also on, I think, is it just Bandcamp or something? The guy who did I'm not sure where he's selling but it's a really good soundtrack, actually, you know? I mean, the fact that we can sit here and play these levels on loop for 7 hours occasionally and not get turned off by it's pretty fucking good. Clustertruck is also on Xbox, PC Game Pass. You can also buy it on PlayStation and Switch these days. I've moderated and verified some runs from all of those groups. Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch. But yeah, the last guy that we rated, well, not the last guy that we rated, but somebody recently that we rated playing Clustertruck said that, I saw that he was playing a console version. I asked which, and he said he was playing it on the Game Pass, which is pretty damn cool. You know, that would be Tiny Build's efforts to get this title, out there and exposed after all the years that it's been out. Continuously get it exposure and get it new sources of revenue, which benefit, the developers as well as the publisher kind of thing. So, pretty big win that you can just get the Game Pass and be able to play it on Xbox or PC, right? I assume. Don't take my word for that, but the Game Pass usually applies in games that exist both on Xbox and on PC. Usually applies to, you can either play it on the computer or you can play it on your console. Interesting thing in terms of console running, consoles and Clustertruck was I saw Wolfie set a new record in, I think, no ability console play, like controller play anyway, on the category extension leaderboards for Clustertruck that Noah runs. And it was a pretty goddamn impressive time. I think I saw a 22 and something time, and you're playing with a controller. That's a lot. If it's no ability, that's kind of crazy that you could figure out methods and bring them in that amount of time. Incidentally, I just want to make it clear, Tiny Bill gave me those codes and whatnot, and then we ended up talking about, like, the locations and places where you can get Clustertruck. That's because you guys started doing that. You did it. It wasn't me. I'm not shilling for anybody. Trust me, if I were shilling for somebody, I wouldn't be this fucking poor. Just to be clear, it was the audience. It was chat here. It was like, you can also get it on do. Order today. Don't act now, and we'll send you this free egg slicer with faux, actual, real, leather, fake wallet. All our fault, indeed. Are you getting Kerbal Space Program too? Is Tiny Build publishing it? Are they going to send me a copy? I presume that once KSP is out, I will get a copy and and we'll have a go at it. It's hard to, oh my god, for a 5.7, that's what you're looking for. Try not to throw this run away by doing shit shittily like you just did here. It's really hard for me to get excited though. Fuck, I just threw it away. Really hard for me to get excited. Stop. Just because, like, I can get excited and then the other part of my brain steps in and says, yeah, we've been here before. The things that they promise, and then it's gonna be, you're gonna get in, and the problems from the first game aren't gonna be solved. It's hard for me to get excited. It's very easy for me to be perfectly neutral about it, though, I feel like it's got as much chance to suck as it's got to be good. You know, it's that's easy. I'm not holding anything against, but it is hard to expect. Fuck. Expect the best. Well, we got an amazing one once we got it for a 5-second clear, so maybe that takes care of something somehow. We are fucked here. Okay. Is this the... No. Is this the last level? No, it's not, Paul. Look at that. Huh? How you like that? You like it? Fuck. Fuck. You really need to get this one and get it with everything and be steering it in the correct direction when you come out of it, or else it's going to be less than if you went for the harder strat. Damn neutrals. Oh, is that a link to some Kerbal stuff? Clustertruck special offer. Only 2 payments, $29.99. Use code the RP link in the description below, and I will receive $14.99. Do not. That's not what. Do not. It's a joke. Mephistopheles. Hi. Can't wait for you to hold all the world records in both KSPs. I have to go back and get the world records. You know, I've got 3 of them still, right? I took 4. I got 3. And there's so much time saved across that Kerbal run. And I really do think, like, the career mode, ooh. Thank you. The career mode, not science, but career mode, tech tree unlock is really interesting. I think it's really fun. It brings in so much game-breaking stuff and requires so much knowledge of the game in order to pull it off. I think it's the more interesting version. Like, the science mode is where you would train for the career tech tree unlock. That's what it's called. Tech tree unlock category. See, that's why I want to reset on 5.6, because I swear it brings me in, and I have that... There's like a weird hovering thing where you're not actually down on the front of the truck yet. And I feel like that's happening too often. Like, with some regularity, which is too often. On that level. This is a real good one of these. It took a while to set it up, though. And you... Stop. I want it to be coming in with a bit of an angle toward the left, which is why I'm setting it up like that, because then I can just turn, do that, go around on the outside. But that's too much. Ooh, there was another gold in there. Didn't bring things down much, though. It was only a 0.1 second gold. There. Back in. You gotta turn more than that, my friend. And you're overthinking it. Just put it in, slap it, it'll go. See? It'll go. 6-1. Not as good as we can get, or as we have gotten, but pretty okay. This was bad. This is a very bad one. 5-3, just average. Fuck! Still alive. Fuck! Still alive. Damn it. You going to do another SM64 rando or not? We were just talking about SM64. Lady Pawn and I don't know, I occasionally get an itch for it, but it hasn't turned into anything. Anytime that I've gotten that itch, I haven't actually come back to it, so I would guess no. Also, my SM64 style USB controller, after we did the 1-star challenge that involved all the backwards long jumps, the button is, the jump button is completely destroyed. So it only fires like, I don't know, it's not that bad, it's like 9/10 of the time or something like that, but I feel like I would have to order another controller for it, and so that's not likely to happen. I mean, I don't have to play it that way, but I'd still need a better controller than like the Xbox controller that I was using before I got the Super Nintendo style USB controller. Oh, this is average. Don't overthink this. Just hit it. Go in the direction you need to. Turn around. And then lev into goal. Cut across. And you don't even have to worry about that. And going into 110. You just come out here. Lev. Get hit by it. Go straight to goal. New PB! Alright! If you're just listening to the live stream, then I just fooled you. There was no... Fucked up 510. I feel like I just come out here and I hope that it'll work out. That's what you need to do. $10-8 though. Come out to you, jump out here, lav, throw. Lav, throw. See, but I was, the last one, that one was way closer than I think I should be, and it worked. So maybe that's the problem why I've never been consistent with it, is that I'm too far away. It's not looking like that. Maybe it's looking like that, actually. That's a 9-4. Damn. Still gotta, it's a lot is going on right there. I'm hovering, I'm trying to position my mouse cursor, I'm trying to get close. Alright, that's what I'm gonna do, is just try and be a little bit closer to the wall than I think I need to when I come in at 510. Does Factorio have a speedrun category? It does. I've watched a team of like 4 or 6 people beat it in less than an hour, I think, in a speedrun. They've probably done it a lot faster than that now. The one thing I haven't figured out yet is how the pocket truck boost works. You know, you do the thing, and then it happens. You're welcome. Wow, that's a beautiful sub 6, followed by me fucking it up. Yeah, it's very much about, like, the thing that's been helping me lately with adjusting to, I feel like it at least feels different since I turned VSync off, trying to get these portable truck boosts off the wall. And the thing that's been helping me is recognizing that with any of these truck boosts, I'm canceling my velocity. And so while I'm cutting across to the right here, I throw it out in such a way that it's going to hit me in the opposite direction that I'm going, and that will result in something that's more straight than I expect. So there's that, and then the other thing is just getting closer than I think I should be on a lot of these. Apparently I've been timid to get too close to the wall. But each level has like a different, each world anyway, has kind of a different set of models for the buildings, and they have different hitboxes for them. The hitboxes here in Medieval World are friggin' huge. So it's easy to think you'll be fine, get close to them. You're definitely not touching them, but you're dead because you're touching the hitbox. I find Sci-Fi World specifically difficult because there's so little to read on the wall. There's no texture, and the lighting and the gradation and everything like that. It just feels like, how can I even tell where I am in the world right now in order to do anything that would benefit me? Okay, this could... I leved a little bit early, but that was viable. Got 9.4 second is new PB for World 5. 9.4 in... Oh, in 510? I could believe that. The 9.4 that I put in? I could believe it. Okay, so I'm just bad at it. No, it's tricky. It's hard. Like, this is my 4th, 5th year of playing Clustertruck, and look at how many attempts it takes for me to get that. Oh, that's a nice 5-3. I got the little post-hit jump boost. Fuck, that was my finger not responding when I told it to do the thing. Double golds to start, wow. And then this. Great. Well, at least we had the time to lose. Wow. I suck. I suck at these. This is the level that you wanted to be resetting on for exactly that reason. Did everyone else notice that I was sort of hovering above the truck when I came in? Okay. We'll go over the... Ooh, can I? I want to now. There we go. It's just as good, just as viable for the speedrun. I wanted to, and I did it. That's what's most important. Okay. That's not at all how I intend to do this. Got it. Pawn is 10th for any percent. Yeah, and when we're done running these segments, we're gonna go back and take something. I don't know what we're gonna take, but Lord knows I'm gonna take some time off of it. When I got that, it was 5th rank. Just barely beat TF in 5th, I think. And it took his 5th rank, and then he came back and took it back. And then it's just been it's been 2 years or something since I ran any percent in Clustertruck. It's been more than a year since I ran any category in Clustertruck. So, more people moved on up the leaderboard, and I just haven't been there. But we're gonna take, hopefully, like, I can get back to 5th with the new methods. I don't know what the leaderboard looks like now, the any percent, even though I'm the moderator. I just can't think off the top of my head what the top ranking times would be. That kind of sucks. But we'll take it. Just to get one started. Where do you stand on the full game? Or do you do individual levels? Sorry, hang on. Alright, now I can talk because I fucked that up. What all do you speedrun? Just curious. This is Dirt Racer. In Clustertruck? Because we've just about finished talking about, I think we just went over like everything that I have speedrunned. Which is Clustertruck, Kerbal Space Program, Super Mario 64. We didn't mention Minecraft. Never in a seriously competitive way, but I enjoyed the process and the RNG of Minecraft. I think those are the only 4 games I've speedrunned. Fuck. And the only 2 of them that I was ever serious about are KSP and Clustertruck. Hey! Fuck! God damn it. All this industrial equipment getting in my way. On my good hits, on my good throws. 5th, I would need to beat 15:01. And what's my time on the leaderboard right now? At 10th? Isn't it a low 17? That's a really bad 5-3. Really good 5-4, but I took ages setting it up, so bear that in mind. 17:05, and I'd have to get to 15:01. I mean, this is the thing, is this method is what we're going to be bringing into any percent to pick up speed, to pick up time across all kinds of levels. This is the one that you need to, like, take your time set up right, because you need everything out of here for it to come in with like a sub 10, which is what you require if you're going to not lose time over the better methods. So 5-7, slow down, pay attention, take time setting it up because you need every fucking ounce of it. 2 minutes 4 seconds time save. I think it'll be there after these methods, or at least it'll be close. What's 6th? Pawn, you started that out wrong. Okay, let me go through the post, so I'm happy. God fucking damn it. Yeah, I think there's 2 minutes of time save without me having to, you know, become any better at the game than we're becoming right now. And the thing is, these methods just provide so much additional consistency. In the full game, I'll be able to, like, take even more time setting every single one of these up, in order to get the best version of it that I can get, and to make sure that I don't just pause and miss the attempt entirely. in the segment. You know, it's more important that I don't waste an extra 0.3 seconds setting it up if I can get it in without having to do so. This is the one I meant to reset and didn't. We got through it anyway. 5-7's the important one, pawn. Come on down, set it up, get it right. Wow, how did that not work? Alright, it's not right. But it should get me there. For a low 10, but only after the reset. And then this one as well. You need a lot, and you want to be going that direction. Okay, we have to drop a truck. And then 5-10. Remember, get closer than you think you need to be. Indeed.
Run faster, jump higher.
2.1 seconds time save over our last 5-10 brings us down to 1:18.47. We either just took a rank from Snakeathon or we're that close. What is it? What is the situation that we be facing? Where the hell? Oh, I opened up the Steam page. Didn't recognize it. Well, no, it's 1:16. That's right. We saved 4 seconds. We need another 2. I thought it was 1:16. It would have beat him if it were 1:16 if he had been 2 seconds slower, though. I thought we were there. I knew it was an even number. Close enough. 6 is 16:21. Yeah. Yeah, I think we could get 5th. I think we could get 6th or 5th. Absolutely. Alright, that's our second PB of the day. Been here for 48 minutes. We keep running. We keep running. I just need another 2 seconds to take Snake's rank, and we want to try and get into the top 3 with this, if possible. But 4th is right there. Just gotta go grab it. Just gotta go grab it from the hardware store. Okay, that's a lot of height, but at least there was power behind it. Fuck you, man. The thing is, when I was doing Desert World, I was really rushing these, and there's like a benefit to rushing them. If you can get into the pattern of it, like you're gonna get so much power off of, you come down, back up a little bit, and then walk into it. I'm gonna keep doing it the way that I'm doing it, though. I'm not going World 1 on this business. Russian? Russian? What? What's Russian? You're trying to get me talking about things, right? You're trying to get me to talk about the former president who colluded and conspired with Russia in order to subvert the democracy, the democratic election that got him elected in the first place, and then on his way out tried to subvert the democratic election that got him kicked out as a lame duck, right? I know your tricks. I see what you're trying to do here. Hey! Hey! That's a little slow, but we'll take it at a 6-3. Decent 5-2. Not the best, not the worst. Hit the button. Decent 5-3. A little overlong on the setup, and I forgot that the spires have hitboxes that are just the size of the buildings. Oops. Had to relearn that at some point today. He's on to it. I'm gonna start talking politics, and like, I got shit written down, people. I got shit written down on a notepad over here for things that I wanted, like ideas that I was inspired with yesterday or something like that. We start talking politics. Good God, what's my idea? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. When we, you know what? I'll save it for after the first live stream break. It seems like a big topic. It involves the Second Amendment and yeah. I had some really good tweets today, though, I think. No one else does, but I think I had some really good tweets the past couple of days where I'm like, oh, that's brilliant. That's just genius. You know, taking what somebody said and reading it for what it means or spinning something around on them and being like, it's just some really good ones. And also, you know, it's not just all about kicking somebody in the teeth who needs it, although most of it is on Twitter, that. But it's not all. You know, some of it is just, wow, that's actually a really really good way to express what apparently a lot of people need to be told. And that they don't find obvious for some reason. Ooh, we golded? Alright. Reset coming into this one because of the weird way that you fall down off of the trucks. If you don't. No resets here, but you need all of this. That's not all of it, but it's enough, I think. Ooh. Hit! Fuck. It could have been enough if I would have played it better. I leved when I should have not leved. So I suppose I should be going for the little lev boost out of there, because it is going to get me a 5.6 instead of a 6.2. I suppose I should be. Beautiful. Have a truck for that. Let me just back down now. Alright. So a little lev boost, a little bit more speed. And it, you know, saves me 0.2 seconds for when I turn and throw, in theory. You need to be turning a little bit more and getting a little bit more in front of it before you throw. Okay. And need to be throwing, you know, with your body, not underneath you. Yeah, that sucks. What is it? It's a 7. I'm not going to run on a 7. Okay. 6-1 to start. I'm amenable to that. Damn it. I'm pausing late. And it's in my fingers, it's not in my mind. My mind knew when I wanted to pause, my fingers just didn't do it. This is awful. Let's... No. We'll just do this then. There you go, that's a beautiful 5-5. If I hadn't taken so long, it could have been a gold. And taken so long to set it up. This is exactly how you want that to go. Every time, please. I'm lying. That's what it sounds like when I lie. When I say not truths. Yeah, that's why you need everything there. I tried to set it up. It wasn't for rushing it. But it didn't come on. That's a good one. So try and get my mouse down a little bit like I used to. See, that's not... Now that you've got VSync off, it's different. I'm gonna keep trying it. Don't hit it. Back. You saw. We all saw what it did to me. What? What did you do there? Oh, well, I didn't right strafe out. That's what I did there. Just tried to left strafe through it. Okay. Nice low and fast 5-2. Maybe. That's a beautiful 5-3. That's me fucking up 5-4. I don't know why. So my brain is telling me like this one's not gonna work no matter what you do, and then I hesitate, and then I go to do it, and then it doesn't, and then my brain was right. Self-fulfilling prophecy, or am I telling the future? Who's to say? Stay tuned. Later on, Oprah. Later on, Dr. Oz will talk about how Mehmet here is not a doctor, and how his advice has been has pissed off a whole lot of actual physicians. Stay tuned. As we find out whether Dr. Oz is going to run for politics. Psychic Pawn, yeah. Also, since I am a psychic, I want to tell you about some superfoods that I'm coming out with a line of vitamin daily supplements that are going to include, and you're going to live longer, and cures cancer. Hi, how you doing? That's what we're going to be doing today. Just stay tuned for the ad later. You know, I can't sell it now because in Europe I'm not allowed to say that my thing cures cancer, so I can't sell it now. But once we get off... It's the state of fucking, you know, the nutritional supplement world. There's a reason why, what's his name? Why all the kooks are all about the nutritional supplements, you know? And it's not because there isn't virtue and value to things like fish oils and omegas and that kind of stuff, but it's mainly because they can sell them, and there's no quality control and no one to analyze the statements of their claims and stuff like that. That's why the guy who tells you they're putting stuff in the water to turn the frogs gay has his own line of fucking butt wipes that you take out onto the camp, and then, you know, you wipe your ass once you get diarrhea from eating his daily something supplement that neither he nor you will actually know what's in it, because most of that industry proceeds out of unregulated Chinese manufacturers that no one is actually doing any oversight on, because the Republicans have defunded, you know, anything that would be regulation in this country, so the FDA has no power because they don't have the money to actually look into anything, and they have to just wait until people start dying and then go, okay, maybe don't eat that anymore. Hey, we started politics. Alright, that's what you guys wanted. You guys just want a good speed run. When I rant, we get good speed runs. Which is why this one started to slow down. I stopped talking about Alex Jones, Tucker, stochastic terrorist Carlson. This is high enough, but I think I would have to land something in order to push it through, and then I tried to, and here we are. And we've lost all that time. You know, isn't there... There's gotta be some kind of law. There's gotta be something that can be brought against Fox News, specifically, for using the word news in their network. There's gotta be a fucking prosecution that can succeed there. They can't, like, come on television and say that no one, as an agency calling them a news network, presenting all of their content in the form of journalism, they can't possibly be able to come on television and just state things that are absolutely provably untrue and then back them up over and over again without producing any evidence. Like, they came on television and, like, Tucker Carlson says, you know, it wasn't... What did he say? The January 6th, you know, attempted coup overthrow of the American government wasn't what the liberals say it was because nobody brought a gun. There have been like 9 to 12 prosecutions of people who were carrying weapons on the day. There are pictures on the internet that you can just go and, with your eyes, if you have them, look at and see people with guns hanging out of their holsters, or out of their belt buckles as they're breaching the Capitol building. And there's gotta be a law, like, there's a freedom of speech, but once you start calling it the news and saying and presenting it in the form and practice of journalism, and you're just saying things that are provably untrue for ages and ages and ages, which is just that's just Fox News' like business, you know, that's just what they do, you know? You can't, and then decide that it's not worth your time covering an attempted overthrow of American government to say, you know, we're not going to give time to that, and call yourself a news organization. Surely they can be fined. Surely they can be prosecuted for lying in the auspices of journalism. Like when you say there were no guns there, and then we go, there were guns there, and then you say, no, there weren't. And we pulled up the picture and we say, yes, there were. And then you go, no, there weren't. But you're doing it to an audience of 3 to 4 million people a night. And you're saying it as though it's true, even when it's not true. It's disinformation funded by Rupert Murdoch, a notable conservative Republican. You know, like, there's got to be a law against that. Surely, right? There was, but the court said they did not have to. Sorry, did you hear about the negative iron stuff? It was mostly radioactive. What? Funny seeing Oz tweet about how Fetterman is a radical socialist who supports Bernie Sanders as an insult. And I'm like, oh, sweet, that's awesome. Who's this Fetterman guy? I added the who's this Fetterman guy thing to Mephistopheles. There was a lawsuit. Well, there needs to be another one. And the ACLU needs to bring it. And they need to continue bringing it over and over and over again. You can't, like, there's freedom of speech cannot allow people to outright lie about factual, like, that to say that the sky was not blue that day, when it relates to the security of democracy in the United States of America, and they present it as news. Like, they can't do it. It can't be allowed. Like, if you want to do a political opinion kind of thing, you present it that way, and your newscasters aren't sitting behind a news desk, and you're not presenting it as news because it's not news, and they're not newscasters. If you want to do a show like that and present it in some other format, and then lie to people, Alex Jones style, okay. But as long as you're going to put it on a channel called Fox News, present every single liar on your network, in the form of a journalist sitting behind a desk, as though they're reading shit that came down from Reuters today. Well, you've got, like, subliminal, you know, post-roll, the little title crawls underneath what you're saying that are saying things that are also not true until you're doing them. Like, I posted on Twitter some quotes that I saw in a Fox News broadcast from a clip that somebody else posted on Twitter, and I just looked down at the subliminal crawl there, and saw that they were saying stuff like, you know, the U.S. the investigation into January 6th, you know, loses traction as something, you know, as it's do or questioned and stuff like that. The only reason that it can report that is because they are the ones questioning it currently. They are questioning it and making the news and then rolling a scroll that suggests that there's news out there that isn't just that they just said that it's bullshit when it's not bullshit. They can't be allowed to do that. That cannot be allowed to be a thing. Right? You can't create the news and then report what you just said as though it's the news while you're creating. If it were funded by a government, if a government were doing it, if this government were doing it, it would absolutely be illegal. Because a private fucking billionaire funds it, it's not. Oh, okay, why does the morality suddenly cease to be, you know, important? Why does the need for journalism to be trustworthy in this country, why do confirmable facts need to be confirmable facts when someone in the government starts speaking? You know, if the government had a news network in this country, why would that be, like, really fucking important? But it doesn't matter when a billionaire puts together a fake news network and lies to the American people in order to produce opinions that are based on nothing. It's illegal. It's gotta be fucking illegal. And it's also a little bit dangerous on their part. It's a little bit dangerous, and I don't just mean to us. It's obviously dangerous to us. It's obviously dangerous to America. It's obviously a threat upon the American people, and, you know, should be seen as treason. But I say it's dangerous to them because they're on television every night suggesting that, you know, 1,000 people walking up to a building, breaking the windows out, climbing through while they're wearing, you know, flak jackets and, fuck. Well, that's that run. Carrying their own tear gas and their own, their own pepper spray, and with fucking boot knives stretched to them and guns shoved down their pants and shit like that. They're suggesting that it's no big deal. And I say it's dangerous to them because, you know. Right? Like, do I have to finish that sentence? Like, if you're encouraging the idea, if you're suggesting to a crowd that it's no big deal, it was just a bit of a, you know, just some people who got excited over there, it's no biggie, that, you know, several people died and many more were injured, and thankfully they managed to get Mike Pence and the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, out of the building before these people went in, because they were clearly setting up to hang them. They had nooses in the fucking tree limbs outside. They had erected their own little faux gallows outside. They were saying, "Hang Mike Pence." They were shouting, "Nancy, Nancy," as they were stumbling through the halls of the Capitol building after breaking in, after bashing in the teeth of the officers trying to protect the fucking building. They're saying that it's no big deal, it's old news, let's stop talking about it, blah, 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 blah. They're diminishing the, you know, severity of how close we came to the overthrow of American democracy, and there's diminishing the amount of actual, real fucking violence and terrorism that was brought on that day by groups that are absolute white nationalist fronts. They are absolutely white nationalist groups. They are racist groups. We all know. The FBI knows. The FBI has been arresting a lot of these fucking people lately. They are hate groups. They are terrorists. And they're saying it's no big deal. You know what position this puts Tucker Carlson and Fox News in? Imagine Tuck one day wakes up, because I like to recontextualize the idea of Tucker Carlson to you for a second. Imagine for a moment, Tucker Carlson doesn't really give a shit about anything that he says, that he doesn't actually care. He is in it, has always been in it for fame, notoriety, just to be a big man on campus kind of a thing. It's all he wanted, you know? He got an opportunity to go on and talk about O.J. Simpson during the trials. He didn't know anything about the case. He said, "Yeah, I'll do it." And then he went up and he said a bunch of shit that didn't make sense, didn't have anything to do with the case, and that was clearly fucking racist. That was the beginning of his career. Imagine, all he ever wanted was attention. And he just realized that he could get what he wanted from these people by saying these things that they liked to hear. What position is he now in? Imagine Tuck, good old Tucky boy, wakes up one day and decides that, oh my god, I can't, look at what I've done. Look at me as a stochastic terrorist. Look at me inspiring people to go and murder black people in a grocery store in Buffalo. Look at me inspiring these race warriors to end up on the Capitol building. Imagine he one day wakes up and realizes who he is and what he's done, and wants to stop. Wants to get out there and you know, take responsibility and accountability for it. He either does that and is killed by the very people who he has inspired through stochastic terrorism, or he realizes that he's going to die if he speaks out against them, and he can never take it back. Like, he and other people on Fox News, but these people have inspired hate groups to come forward and you know, to amass memberships and make plans for overthrowing the government and load into U-Hauls in order to, you know, go down and give anyone who's gay or trans a bad day on one of the few days where anybody, you know, pretends to give a shit about them in this fucking country. You know, it's like, hey, there's your holiday? Okay, we're gonna show up and be assholes to you. Happy your holiday, and then, you know, when you just try and, like, not celebrate Christmas, we're gonna pretend that that's an attack on us. But, you know, we're actually going to attack you on your holidays. You know, he has led these people. Tucker Carlson, Fox News, Rupert Murdoch, the Republican Party in general, has created this beast. And now they must serve this beast. Like, if they want to stop, they're gonna die. They're going to be killed by the people who they fomented this kind of fascist anger and racist violence in. Like, they were ready to kill Mike Pence, they were ready to kill Nancy Pelosi on that fucking day. If they had been there, we would have had murder on the lawn of the Capitol building in full view of cameras. That's what we would have had in this country. Had there not been a fucking underground emergency escape tunnel for them to get through and not be standing there. Imagine being Nancy Pelosi and you didn't escape the building, and you're in your office, and you're listening to a group of like 300 people who are squeezed into these halls, and they're coming down those halls and they're shouting, "Nancy, Nancy." Like, go watch the fucking footage. I'm not exaggerating. In the tone, the fucking, you know, horror movie tone that these people were using. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. They were there to kill them. They would have happily dragged them outside, hung them from a tree. I don't think Nancy Pelosi would have made it out the building. I think Mike Pence, they would have drug him out on the lawn, and they would have actually killed him outside in front of cameras. I think Nancy Pelosi, even if people were trying to get her out of the building, there would have been too many people there because there's such rabid, foaming at the mouth fucking lunatics that even if they were, you know, their own people were like, no, leave her alone, we want to make a showing of her, somebody would have killed her, like, before they could get her out the door. Like, and the people who started it, the people who, like, emboldened these mindsets, are now servants to them. Like, they couldn't stop if they wanted to, because anybody who steps out, Mike Pence is their fucking boy. Mike Pence was their guy. Mike Pence is against abortion, you know, or I mean, for abortion. Wait, no, what is he for? He's against... He's against a woman's right to self-determination. He's all of the things. He's all of the things. When Mike Pence was announced as a vice president, nobody on the left went, oh, okay, Mike's a good guy. No, he's all of those fucking things. He's their boy. They were gonna hang him just for, like, believing in the premise of American democracy. If anyone that is, you know, that has spoken to these people in a term of emboldening and encouraging comes out and says, I'm against you now, and I see what we're doing, and my God, the harm, and I wish I hadn't started this, they're on the hit list. They are absolutely on the hit list. That's what we've got now in America. I mean, the frequency with which I hear talk about individuals in our government who, you know, can't attend a certain rally or can't get to a certain meeting because they have security concerns. Like, events that are not, they're not going to racist meetings. They're not trying to show up to those places. They're just trying to go out and they want to, like, support certain things. But they know, and they have the NSA, the CIA, the FBI have, credible threats against them, against their lives, if they travel to that, if the people out there know where they're going to be on a certain day. This is where we are in America. And I don't know how it is that so many people can pretend like this is not where we are, you know? Just keep your head down, and, I mean, keep your head down, that I'm fine with. You don't want to get involved in the bullshit that's going on in this world, good. You know, more power to you. If you've managed to find a place to be that you can be, and just avoid the nonsense of the era of politics, you know, I'm not going to be one who's going to try and make you feel guilty for not standing on the front lines of this fucking nonsense, okay? It's a big, stupid world, and it'll be gone soon. So, pick your battles, decide what you're going to get upset about, and the closer that you make them to you and, you know, people who you actually see in your daily life, as opposed to shouting about people who you hear exist out there somewhere, more power to you. But for there to be, like, you know, this active base of American citizens out there who are ready and willing to make very decisive and conclusive statements about who's good and who's bad, while having their head in the fucking sand about, like, reality, while not recognizing that just because you manage to live in the suburbs, because you managed to find yourself a little suburban utopia out there based on the size of your fences between you and your neighbors, and, you know, you found a nice place that a couple of decades before you got there had been well redlined in order to keep anyone who wasn't your color out. Just because you are having a good time, please stop speaking so loudly about things that you have no fucking idea about, and please stop pretending like we don't actually have problems in this fucking country. You know? We've got riotous groups running into the Capitol building, attempting to murder our elected representatives for the sin of upholding the Constitution. That's where we are as a country. And we're still going to be there when we come back from this 7-minute live stream break. See, some days I'm better when I rant. Some days I'm not. I think this is one of the days where I'm not. That's fine. I'll do what the fuck I want to. I don't need facts on my side. I feel passionately. We'll be back in 7 minutes. Don't go anywhere. Pawn not out. Where's the break button? There it is. I am the Ronan Pole. Welcome back to twitch.tv/RonanPole live stream on twitch.tv/RonanPole. Thank you. Thank you, U.S. Army Blues, for the Boogie Blue. Welcome back to the Speedrun. We are fixing the green screen. We are running Medieval World, the 5th world, as a segment in the segment Speedruns for Clustertruck. Trying to put in new PBs. We've taken 2 PBs already. I believe we've driven our time down by 4 seconds. We need 2 more seconds, and I take another ranking. After that, we need a ridiculous number of seconds that I don't want to think about in order to take 3rd, but I do believe it could be possible. But let's get back into it, and of course, as is my wont, as I usually am known to do, we're ranting about politics, and I promised I'd get into a rant, I suggested I might, about the Second Amendment. So I saw a little tweet, I saw a little tweet on Twitter. That's where you see tweets these days, is on Twitter. I know, what's happening in this world. But I saw a tweet, and it was somebody, you know, very tongue-in-cheek, pointing out that the Second Amendment was, you know, entered into law in 1789. The bullet was invented in 1847. So about 60 years later. And that's really all that they said. Well, no, they topped it off by saying, so the Second Amendment only applies to muskets. But I really liked that because it is a you know, strict constitutional interpretist thing to talk about there. You know, the idea of their, you know, when it comes to, we watched the Brett Kavanaugh hearings because that was a phase that I went through. I wanted to review the Brett Kavanaugh hearings in full, and we did. On these live streams, and got to see the difference between, you know, a woman who clearly what she's saying happened to her, and a man who's lying in order to, you know, cover his ass and get the job that he wants. But we watched that, and then we watched the more recent confirmation, at least the first day of the most recent confirmation hearings for SCOTUS, which was Ketanji Brown Jackson? Is that her name? I'm shocked that I remember the name. I'm shocked. Just doesn't seem like something that I would actually be able to recall, but I did. Ketanji Brown Jackson, right? I'm not wrong on that, am I? I am wrong on that. That would be more like me. We watched those things, and, you know, while we were watching them, while we were considering them, you know, it came up in chat, the idea of, you know, strict constitutional interpretations and things like that. And some of you were saying, you know, the Constitution is a living, breathing document and it has to be able to evolve and be interpreted by the generation that is using it. And others were saying that the Constitution is, you know, laws are written as they're written, and what we need to do is, when we have a problem with them, we need to fucking change them. We need to amend the amendments. We need to redact, remove, replace, you know, come up with new laws that are representative of our modern interests. And it's a conversation that is very hard to have while you're on good time with your speed run. So give me a second here. So I'm coming into 5.7. I need a big one out of 5.7. That's really good, actually. This could take me all the way there. And then in 5.8, I just don't want to throw it away, you know. This one's easier to get, but I just don't want to mess it up. This is hard, 5.9. Yeah, that didn't come in well. I think I can get there. I have to drop a truck, though. And then 5.10, if I can get out. I got out. Don't hit your head.
Run faster, jump
Or skim
higher.
your knees, and you can take a 1:15.54, 2.9 seconds with a gold on 5.10, because we got it in 9.4 seconds, and a gold on 5.5. That's a big dip, and that is a move up in the ranks. We have taken Snakeathon's ranking at 4th on the leaderboards. I started with 5th today, and that was 2 years old, more or less. And in 3 PBs, we've managed to grab 4th with a time save of 7 seconds so far. Damn. That's brilliant. And just, yep. So there it is. Snake is 116.6. I got a 115.5. Next rank is 108.7. How the fuck do you get 108.7, TF? What do you do for that? I'm not even going to talk to AJ or Emily there. What do you do for a 108? Should we watch it? We should watch it. I'm going to, see what we got here. Comes out, gets the hit. He's in a high five. We've done that today. He's actually running it, and he's doing one of these. Coming with a 6-4. I think we're getting 6-4s out of it by the new method. This is before the baby pause bounce. Comes out for that with a 5-6. Sure. I don't think this is ridiculous yet. A 6-5 there. A 5-5 here. Wait, no. That was the name of the level. I didn't see what he got actually there. A 5-0 or a 5-1 out of 5-6. And then this. Pardon me. I need to cough right into it. 7-8. I think we're getting 9s out of that. But he is losing a fair bit of time, I think, here over a run for an 8-6. We've got the benefit of the baby pause bounce. It's a good one here. And in with a 6-9. Damn. And then a decent one of these. We cleared ours in 9 point something. He clears his in 9 point something. That's going to be hard. That's going to be real hard to come up with. The musket versus modern weapons with bullets distinction doesn't matter to the Constitution, which simply says the right to bear arms. However, it is only supposed to apply to state-run militias, and that is the part that has been perverted. You can thank Scalia et al. For that. So, yes, that has been the interpretation, because it does say the right to bear arms. However, like, there is a vein of thought that would say if we're going for a strict interpretation of the Constitution, you can either go strict by the letter of the law or you can go strict by the lawmaker's intent. And that's where we can have a conversation about this. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, you know, because it is like the difference of one kind of gun to another kind of gun. But it's not as ridiculous. It's a far-out opinion to take, but it's not as ridiculous as you might think. In 1789, they had not imagined a world where an individual could have a fully automatic weapon with clips of bullets that they could load into it and fire. In 1789's world, they were imagining a world where if one person has a gun, they can lift their musket, and they've got it preloaded, and they can fire it and kill somebody in the street. And then, best musket reloader is going to need about 10 to 12 seconds to reload at the time where everybody's looking over at him and going, what the fuck? And that's 10 to 12 seconds that you can either run away from him because he looks crazy and he looks like he's going to shoot at somebody else, or if you've got a musket that's preloaded, you can fire back. The amount of damage that an individual could do in 1789 by individually possessing a firearm is immensely different than what the amount of damage that one 19-year-old carrying 2 AR-15s can do when they walk into a school and murder 19 children. Now, if we are interpreting the intent of the lawmaker, that could be considered. There is grounds for consideration there, right? The intent of the lawmaker, the ability to see what technology is and to see the potential dangers and weigh those potential dangers and risks against the benefits and, you know, decide that we're going to put this amendment on the boards because the states are demanding it, and we'll also say that it has to be part of a well-regulated militia, which has been completely ignored. But, you know, in terms of intent, their ability to conceive of the technologies that existed at the time different to the technologies that exist now could be considered. It's a strict interpretation, constitutional interpretation, that is focused not on the strictness of language, but on the strictness of intent. What did the lawmakers know about at that time? What were they thinking about at that time? And what did they legislate in order to allow and or prevent? There's an argument there. I'm not saying that it's a great argument, but I'm saying it exists on the spectrum of how a judge or any litigator can and should be considering any piece of legislation in the United States of America. The intent was that the states could fight back against government tyranny. So I would argue that by that interpretation, they should be allowed all weapons that the Fed has, but again, only for state-run militias. The average Joe shouldn't be allowed tanks and rocket launchers. Well, even so then, do you think that state-run militias should have Apache helicopters? You say that, an individual shouldn't be allowed to have a tank and a rocket launcher, but the militia should? So these are all conversations, and Lava Lamp says yes. And these are all conversations that we can have and have differing opinions on, and how it should be applied in the modern era. And then, on top of that, we can then have the conversation of whether or not their intent at the time is valid today, and whether or not we should throw this out and write something that makes more fucking sense for the modern era, and considering the damage that is being done, the 45,000 people every year in America who died of gun violence, the people walking into grocery stores in Buffalo and murdering people because they're not the right color of skin. We look at our problems, we look at the law, we say what was their intent, and we can have a conversation about that, but then on top of that is, does their intent matter in the modern era, and what are we going to do to change it? But to reinforce this idea of lawmakers' intent and its role in the law, pardon me, sorry, we were just watching that speedrun in order to see what I'm running against at this point. And I am going to keep going. But to reinforce this is the same conversation. Let me save those splits, by the way. This is ostensibly the same consideration and conversation that we were having. Wow. I just experienced, that was like out of body. I didn't do that, and it happened. That's how I feel right now. I just started running, and it just happened completely without me. Holy shit. I mean, it actually freaked me out. I'm freaked out by how I felt right there. I was completely, disembodied by that experience. It was as though I was seeing it a half a second before it was being done. Whoa. What was I talking about? Before that experience that I've never had before? Woo! I've got a neurological condition over here, so that's new to me. I'll have to put that in the symptom log. I just experienced self-disembodiment as I watched myself doing something that I didn't feel that I'd done yet. That's crazy. This is the same conversation that we could have about the Second Amendment and a strict intent or a strict interpretation of lawmakers' intent and what they could have possibly envisioned at the time of technology. It's a very similar conversation to that we can have, and that we were having when Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson was up for nomination, because some Republican douchebags decided to make it an issue. Child pornography. Decided to make it an issue that Justice Jackson had... Miss Jackson, that's how you remember it. That Justice Jackson had ruled on a number of cases where child pornography was involved, and not followed the federally mandated guidelines. And the fact of the matter is that in her rulings, she was following the same pattern of judgments of 85% of all other federal justices in the country. It was something like that. It was 70 to 85%. I can't remember. I remember that in the guy who brought it up, who made it an issue in his state, there were more justices who ruled in exactly the same way that Justice Jackson ruled than there were nationwide, and nationwide it was already a supermajority number. It was already in the 70 percentile. So the reason why I bring this up in reference to our conversation about the Second Amendment and what kind of technology that they could possibly imagine and how that's relevant is that the reason why most justices, far and away, most justices do not follow the federal mandated guidelines, or rather, find ways to rule outside of them, is that when those guidelines were written, it was the 80s. And in the 80s, child pornography was based around the idea of individuals taking pictures of kids and mailing them to, interested parties who were paying them money in order to get their child porn. It was individuals who were forming these devious, dirty little fucking networks that involved black books. Like we saw, who was it? Who ended up, quote unquote, killing himself in prison. Had these little black books. The relationship between the producers of pornography and the consumers of pornography was basically one jump. A individual produced child pornography, got a child in a room, got them naked, and had them do whatever they had them do. And then there was another person who was a distributor, and that distributor was known to the consumer, and then the consumer would contact that distributor and receive images, video, whatever, they were selling that day of these sexual abuses of children for their enjoyment and edification. The reason why these justices, why 70 to 80% of all justices in the United States do not apply the mandatory minimums as written by the federal government in 1980 is because there's a little thing, I don't know if you've heard of it right now, you're using it currently, it's called the internet. And the relationship between consumers of pornography and the manufacturers and the distribution networks is 100,000% different. The laws were originally established in the 1980s, acknowledging the direct relationship that consumers had to producers. That they were right there, that often the producer was also their own distributor, that there was an exchange of monies involved, and that those monies could be seen to, they absolutely do, that they fund and encourage and produce the next wave of child pornography. There was this one-to-one relationship of you are paying someone ostensibly to make you child pornography, who is then going and abusing children sexually for your edification. The internet has made it so that the same laws that were written to apply in those circumstances apply in instances where somebody clicks on something on the internet that they didn't know what it was, and now they've got child pornography on their computer. It also applies to those who have willful intent to seek out child pornography, but for whom it is an activity where they anonymously log onto the internet, go to a file-sharing hub, and end up torrenting something that exists with or without them, that the individuals who produce it received absolutely no compensation for. And it also applies to children themselves who, big shock, pubescent teenagers, they're interested in the sexuality of pubescent teenagers. In other words, there's a lot of children who have access to child porn right now, and they are subject to the same prosecutorial rules or the same prosecutorial and the same sentencing guidelines as 50-year-old scuzzy guys who used to have, pictures of children being abused delivered to their mailbox in manila envelopes after having paid the producer directly to basically produce that, to basically abuse a child. And so, federal justices have found ways to not use the mandatory minimum guidelines for sentencing in order to avoid applying the intent of lawmakers in 1980 on sleazy, oily, perverted old men who have every reason to understand exactly the damage they're doing and who choose to do it anyway for their own gratification. To not apply those laws to kids who, kind of want to masturbate and, are exactly as most people would want it, more attracted to people of their own age than adults. Yeah. If that was a PB, that was going to be a weird one to have to put in a video, huh? And this is a really difficult conversation to have. You see how hard it is for me to talk about it in some language where it doesn't entirely sound skeezy and stuff, and that's exactly what the Republican Party tried to pull out against Ketanji Brown Jackson. It's a hard conversation to have realistically about things because it's always, but it's child porn is the only argument that you need on the other side to invoke a, pearl-clutching response from people who refuse to acknowledge, oh, I can see how the difference in distribution networks and the difference of clientele and the difference of harm being done by parties who aren't willful and don't understand the harm that they're causing and who are of, the same age as the people whom they're looking at in these child pornography and wouldn't understand where this is coming from or think that far into it. You can just get everybody to not actually consider that because that requires, thought. It requires, it's moving parts, and it's too complex, but you could just say, it's child porn! She's voting against, she says she's letting child pornographers off free, which she never did. But so, I draw a connection directly from that, because we've got laws in 1980 written by men who understood the technology, mostly a group of men in 1980 in our government, who understood the technology and the distribution methods of child pornography to involve a human being taking a child into a room and doing horrible things to them while recording it, and then handing it off to somebody whose job it is to keep a mailing list of all the people and let them know, hey, if you give me $150, I'll get you a shot of this. That was the relationship and that was the structure. Now there's an internet. You can literally accidentally end up with child pornography on your computer by clicking in the wrong place. So judges want the ability of their own sound mind to make the decision of how much penalty is appropriate considering who and how and when and the damage that the penalty will do on someone who maybe didn't do that much that was wrong. The goal of justice is to find a punishment that is appropriate to the crime. And we don't want to be, convicting children the same way that we'd be convicting sleazeballs, hairy-chested 50-year-old men sitting around rubbing their tummies and stroking their dicks as they watch, 8-year-olds strip. I think there's a difference there, and I think anyone with two fucking brain cells to rub together for heat and winter can tell the difference there. And that's what justices say, and that's what Ketanji Brown Jackson says as well, in perfect agreement with the majority of justices across the country. And so you see how the changing of technology and the unwillingness of the law to change forces judges to find creative ways to avoid the application of law in order to try and get something that looks like justice to come out of their courtrooms instead of just punitive action, mindless punitive action. Tie that directly to the Second Amendment, 1789, we were talking about muskets. It's 2022, we're talking about 19-year-olds carrying AR-15s with extended magazine clips. There's a difference. So there's an argument there. Seems we've moved on from the Second Amendment now. No, that's the thing. I was connecting the two because it's both of them were talking about the ability of the lawmaker to envision the technology when they wrote the law, ending up in a law that is misapplied and inappropriate to the state of the world as it exists. That's the connection I'm trying to make. Oh my God, I entered the stream, first word I hear is child pornography. Welcome, Florida Seidler. Very serious topic, says the Light Guy 89. Yeah, and I'm trying to handle it well while speedrunning. I'm trying to be careful with my words. What did I click into, says Ren Phoenix, as I subscribed for 22 months total on a year-long streak. Thank you for the year-long streak. You keep them clothes off, Ren Phoenix. I know that you're not a child, otherwise that wouldn't be right. And sound really wrong after what we were just talking about. You're on a 12-month streak. You see the joke. Thank you so much for the support. But yeah, I that's where I'm drawing that connection and saying, it's not completely irrelevant. It's not completely irrelevant to suggest that that you couldn't have possibly, that people in 1789 were not possibly able to make a reasonable judgment of what would be dangerous and what wouldn't be dangerous, considering what they knew of weapons technology as it existed then. There's an argument there. I don't think it's the strongest argument. I don't think it's an argument we need, but I think it's a really fun argument. I think it's a really interesting argument because it points out the necessity of justices, of judges and lawmakers to consider such things in their findings and their rulings and as they are trying to, establish laws. Because whatever you can imagine, it's going to change in this, ever-evolving technological world. What you think it is, it's not going to be that by the time you're retiring. And your laws are still going to be on the books. And how many people are you going to end up harming that you never even meet by writing your laws in such a way as they apply for 200 years? And but I think Lava Lamp is more on point and on topic when it comes to the concept of the interpretation of the Second Amendment. A well-regulated militia being in the interest of the states. That's where we start with the Second Amendment. It never secured the right of, the idea was you'd have a well-regulated militia. Number one, you got to be well-regulated. Number two, it's supposed to be by the states. And then you can take your weapon home because, it's your weapon kind of thing, and you've got your weapon, sure, but it's got to be as relates to the security of the states. The idea that anyone intended for a 19-year-old to be able to legally obtain 2 AR-15s with extended magazine clips, just not even on the table. It's not even in the world of consideration. And that is, of course, before we move on to what is most relevant, which isn't what. You're not doing it that way. Which obviously is not what long-dead men intended when they wrote laws that are now hundreds of years old. What is obviously most relevant is what do we need right now as a people? What's working and what isn't working. And in the wake of, the 7,000th fucking shooting, which is then followed by another shooting, as a people, we get burned out on this stuff. Something incredibly horrible like this happens, and the next day something else incredibly horrible happens, but it's not as horrible as what happened the day before it, and then something else happens 2 days after that, and it's not quite as horrible as what happened 3 days ago either, and we're still talking about that, and we're still all standing here going, I can't believe that there are people arguing that, over that we need some kind of gun legislation in this country, that we need some kind of protection for the American people in this fucking country. And we're still standing there going, Jesus Christ, and meanwhile, there's just more and more blood being spilled every single fucking day. Every single fucking day. It doesn't end because we stop talking about it, but we do stop talking about it eventually because nobody's really doing anything about it. And we realize that if 46% of the population doesn't think it's an issue at all, we just lose hope. We lose hope for humanity in general. How can this... I just looked at the statistics on, some of the latest, popular polling data that has it in partisan form. So you can look at the difference between Republicans and Democrats. And, I am in 5-1, aren't I? Yes. And what I found was that about 50%, 40-some% of Democrats think that the main causal factor in gun violence in America is guns. Crazy, right? Access to guns, 40-something%. Boy, I don't want to say it wrong, but I feel like it wasn't even 2 digits on the Republican side. It might have been 5, maybe 6%. Of Republicans think that guns are the main factor in how much gun violence we have. And then, for Republicans, their top reason was mental health. Their top reason was mental health. Now watch this, okay? Where Democrats think that guns have something to do with the amount of gun violence in this country. And Republicans refuse to acknowledge it whatsoever at any mass based on these polls. Democrats agree that there is a component of mental health to the tune of like 34%. So it turns out, like, if you add it all up, it's like between the top two causal factors, according to a Democrat, of gun violence, it's guns, closely followed by mental health. On the Republican side, it's mental health, followed by not guns. Guns isn't anywhere in there. It's not guns. It has nothing to do with guns. The fact that people are being killed with guns has nothing to do with the fact that we've all got guns. This is what I mean when I talk about the Republican Party seeking, fomenting, and encouraging ignorance in the American populace. Trying to find power through appeals to ignorance and propagations of ignorance. And at this point in time, mainly amongst, white nationalists and racists. That's what I'm talking about. How the fuck could you have, like, guns not be part of why there's gun violence in America from the majority of, a party? What? Like, your opponents agree with you that mental health is a factor. You can't agree with them that maybe the amount of guns that we have is involved in the number of guns that are used to kill people every single fucking year? Really? You just got your own little world you're living in, don't you? You've decided how you want things to be, and regardless of how they are, you're gonna just pretend. Is that what we're doing? Is it just that you've decided the people on this side of the table are your enemy, and so whatever they're saying has to be wrong? Is that how committed you are? That you will make yourself look like that fucking stupid? That you don't think guns are involved in gun violence? Wow. I don't think I want to be coming around on the outside, but it worked. I got there, and I think we're on green time even. Can I get this? Fuck! Could have been a PB, but I'm still fucking up 510. If I come out to this side and then come across, I think I get there faster and can throw it quicker. It wasn't actually a good slap, I don't think. But it was a lot better than dying for no reason. I will jump to the right and come to the left, and that'll get me out there faster, and then I can lev once and throw it and cross my fingers that it comes in. My streak is all just under my clothes. Okay. You keep them on, you take them off, you do whatever you want, as long as you're paying me. I always have pretty good stuff to say on the topic, especially serious ones. I want to hang on to the hope that I felt the opening day of the January 6th hearings gave me, because they went so far out of their way to lay down a red carpet and open a path for any Republican who is tired of what the Republican Party has turned into, is tired of this race-based fucking courting ignorance politics that they've been relying on. They laid down a fucking red carpet, they opened up a huge door, and created a platform for Republicans who want to see their party mean something again. Step up, stand on the side of justice and democracy and patriotism, which is something that I give two fucks about, but apparently some people do. And I'm just... It's hard, because every day I see more evidence that the party as a whole, like, it's not just in the representatives, maybe it's because the representatives and the parties have fed them, so many lies, and because Fox News and Tucker Carlson, they got this viewership, and they're literally editing the footage from the hearings so that they can remove the video of the guy with a stolen police fucking shield bashing out the window and coming, and they edit all the things that don't go along with their lying narrative you know, maybe it's gotten this bad because of that, but, like, you look at these polls, and it just saps your hope for humanity. I was looking at polls from October of 2020. End of the period, I mean, not complete end, but we'd already seen how Trump handled COVID for half a year. And I looked at the polls and saw that Democrats thought Trump's handling of COVID was 5% of Democrats thought that they approved of Trump's handling of COVID at that time. 5%. 90 for 5% disapproved. Republicans approved at a rate of 86%, I believe, of Trump's handling of COVID. All right? Party lines, fine, whatever. Then you look at the numbers more, and you see that amongst the Democrats, when they were asked the question, I'm trying to remember one, when they were asked the question, do you think COVID is out of control? See if you don't recognize this number from something I said earlier. 95% of Democrats thought that COVID was out of control. 5% thought it wasn't. Amongst Republicans, 20-something% of them thought that COVID was out of control. It's 24 or something like that. 24% thought it was out of control. Bear in mind, only like it's a difference of 9%. Whatever it was a difference of 9% between the Republicans. I mean, it included the same 9%. The same 9% who says Trump is handling this say that COVID is out of control. That's fair enough, almost. Somebody, tweeted at me when I was bringing this up on Twitter that that's not completely out of line with Republican philosophy. A lot of it is based on conservative Christianity and the idea that COVID is out of control, but Trump is handling it well. You know, goes along with the idea that this is all in God's hands and, you know, it is what it is and he's doing the best that he can with it. Okay. Next question on the poll was, do you think mask mandates should be required? Now, see if you don't remember this number from the Democrats. On the Democratic side, 95% agreed, 5% didn't agree. Have you noticed a consistency amongst Democrats here on this issue of COVID? On the Republican side, the number of Republicans who felt that mask mandates should be required was now up to like 36%? I thought it was in the 30s. Well into the 30s. So now we've got, like, what the numbers show us is that 80, like a majority, a high 80 number, I believe, 88% is probably right. 88% of Republicans thought Trump is handling COVID just fine. 36% of them thought that masks needed to be mandated at the time of this poll. And 20-something%, 24 or something like that, thought that it was out of control. So, ostensibly, 36% of Republicans thought Trump was handling COVID just fine, while they disagreed with his handling of COVID, with his policies of COVID. 36% disagreed with his policy and approved of his handling. They're asked basically the same question in two different forms, and you get two entirely different answers. 9% made no connection between the efficacy of Trump's actions, whether it's out of control or not, and whether or not they approve of how he's handling it. On the Democratic side, by compare, 95% thought Trump was doing a bad job. 95% thought that masks needed to be mandated, and 95%, yep, 95% thought that COVID was out of control. Do you see how maybe one of these two groups might be employing some kind of logic to their opinions that you can sort of follow along with and say, yeah, well, if the thing isn't going well and the guy in charge is in charge and it's not going well, then maybe he's like not doing a good job with it. And maybe it's because of the policies that he's doing where he's not big on these mask mandates, and he keeps firing people who are trying to tell the American public what they can actually do for their own fucking health. You see how the Democrats have like a consistency of logic going on there that cannot be observed in the Republican, where over a third of Republicans thought by October 2020 that we needed mask mandates, but were happy with the man who had spent the past 6 months saying mask mandates are fucking unconstitutional. It saps your hope for the future to think that we have a minority half of this country. There are less Republicans in this country than there are Democrats. And let's be clear, not all Americans are either Democrat or Republican. But there are less Republicans than there are Democrats from shore to shore in this country, always have been, and that's why we'll never get a fucking, one man, one vote in a federal election, why there will always be a fucking, electoral college, because it comes down to Republicans will lose every executive branch, except for a rare circumstance, if we ever have one man, one vote in this country, because there are more liberals than there are conservatives in this country. But it saps your fucking hope for the future to find out that that minority is a body of individuals who disconnect the people who are running the show from their own actions and from the consequences thereof. It saps your fucking hope. I want to see the Republican Party come back and be about something like it hasn't been, I don't know, probably all my life. But it saps your hope because you realize when you look at the polls of, what people think, what people who identify themselves as Republicans to pollsters think, you realize that, oh, well, at this point, they may have created the group that's answering this way, but the group is now answering this way, and that means that they have every incentive and more to continue their policies and their talking points, despite the fact that they make no sense and are indefensible, because their electorate has fucking drank the Kool-Aid, and they're ready to die for fucking Vishnu, or whoever it is that that prepared the Kool-Aid for them, whatever this cult is. They're all about it. That was absolutely awful, and we lost all of our time save, and I don't think we can get it back between these two worlds. I'll tell you what I'll do. I will attempt to do this next level the full-on speedrunner way. I did not get it, but the fact that I got any kind of bounce out of that at all is kind of impressive to me, because I haven't practiced it. That's my first attempt all day. It really, it's I'm trying to hold on to, and I'm not doing a horrible job at it, but I am trying to hold on to what felt like it was such a good first hearing, that January 6th hearing, that it left me with hope for America, for, the federal government to actually be answering back to the liars and the manipulators and the deceivers and the people who have been trying to create alternate realities and alternate timelines and present groups of racist, rioting, democracy overthrowing, violent motherfuckers into, it was just a group of people who, they got a little bit worked up after a big speech from Trump. That'll happen. He's such a good speaker. I'm holding on to it because there's a big wide fucking door that they threw open. But it's hard because you look down the barrel of any Republican who did come forward and say, yeah, I want Republicanism and conservatism to be about, small government and controlled government spending and free markets and stuff like that again, instead of, racists and terrorism and shouting people are too woke as a response to basically anything that's wrong, including, you know, kids getting shot to death in fucking schools. But anyone who does come forward and says that does so at their political peril, because apparently 4% or something like that, I can't remember what the number was, 5 to 9 is what I'm going to say. There's a single-digit percent of Republicans think guns have something to do with the amount of gun violence in this country. And they've onboarded such a delusional fantasy reality presented by, you know, Tucker Carlson, Rupert Murdoch, and all the other jackasses who have been paid for their souls by Satan himself. That, you know, an intelligent, decent, honest person who has come to the conclusion that bigger government is not the solution cannot be elected in America today. Only racist ideologues, only fascist dictators, only psychotic people who have these strange crystals formed in their head where the facets can't possibly connect, but they've connected them somehow. Florida Sidler says, I was just in call with a bunch of people. One of them, they were mostly all like that, literally said, I don't care how many kids have to die. If it's thousands, I will never give up my guns. No surprise, he is also very racist. Gee. And you know, there's a counter-argument, by the way, to the call that some Republicans made for, you know, what really needs to happen about gun violence is we all need to start going to church again. Here's a counter-argument for that. The churchgoers have a weird way of making thoughts connect to one another that don't actually make any fucking sense. And so, maybe, if we get more churchgoers, you know, more butts back in the pews, maybe what they'll do is they'll end up drawing the kind of conclusions that they draw politically, where guns don't have to do with gun violence, where access to automatic weaponry doesn't have to do with the number of people killed by crazed shooters carrying automatic weaponry, where we can live in a country that if you want to drive a car on the public streets, you need a fucking license because it's a dangerous vehicle. It's a dangerous thing. It's a dangerous weapon in the courts. It's a deadly weapon if misused. We can live in a country where you have to have a fucking license to drive a car. And we can live in a country where 68% of gun owners agree that it would be a good idea to license gun owners. And 73% of Americans agree that it would be a good idea of people who don't own guns. You know, 73% of all Americans agree that yes, gun owners should be licensed. And yet live in a country where we don't have gun licensing. Gotta have a license to drive a car. Because, I mean, think of the damage you could do if you weren't driving it right. If you were driving it unsafely. If you weren't wearing your glasses. If you know, aren't wearing your seatbelt. If you aren't signaling when you change lanes and stuff like that. Think of the damage you would do. Obviously, we have to license drivers. However, there is no accounting for the amount of damage you can do if you don't understand how to operate the safety on a weapon. If you don't, you know, have any respect for the idea that, like a safety belt, you should probably have a gun lock on your weapon if you have children in the house, or really just for, you know, if you don't plan on using it regularly. There's no similarity in these two things. Licensing people with deadly weapons that do harm, that causes death in this country. Nope. Why would we do that? How does one have to do with the other? You ask a conservative Christian Republican, they have no idea. They're like, it doesn't. What are you talking about? You're trying to confuse me with your fancy words? Don't bring multisyllabic words in here. I don't even know what multisyllabic means. It's multisyllabic. Not falling for your liberal, woke, fascist, anti-fa, Antifa bullshit. I'm with Joe. Or no way. I'm with Trump. I got my boys. I'm no dummy. You can't fool me. Guns don't have to do with gun violence. What do you mean? If there was less guns, it'd be harder for people to shoot each other with them. It's inflation. Inflation is the reason we need it's inflation. By the way, you know who's responsible for inflation? It's the woke-ass liberal Antifa Democrats. Like, I'm there. I was never there. I always, you know, I always wanted to perceive the people who disagreed with me as people who had points in politics, and, you know, if I just, you know, if we sat down and had a reasonable conversation together, I'd hear things from them. We'd disagree, but I'd hear things from them that were like, oh, okay, hey, no, I see what you're thinking about there. Yeah, people in rural areas need blah, 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 something like that. I always saw, you know, I've always been that side of thing. I am at this point, heckling any fucking Republican for being a Republican. Of saying you are a two-toothed backwoods hillbilly fuck, is what you are. And you're either that, or you're worse, because you know, because you understand what's going on, and you're one of them that's doing it. You know, you would rather people be dying in the streets, you would rather democracy be overthrown, than have to pay your fair share of taxes every year. You know, if you're an intelligent Republican, it's worse now. Because you're part of this, you know? You're supporting the fucking two-tooth hillbilly backwoods fucks. And you know what it's about, and you know where it comes from. And you're smart enough to know better, and you know the harm that's being done, but you'd prefer to take your money home at the end of the year. Even though your money was stolen from everybody else. If you're a rich motherfucker, the only way that rich motherfuckers can make money is to steal them. Limited resources on the planet here, folks. I don't know if you can count, but, you know, teacher brings 30 apples in for a classroom full of 30. If that teacher decides that because Julie made the best finger painting yesterday, we're going to reward her by giving her 29.5 apples, then there's half an apple for 30 kids to cut into tiny little pieces, and that's all they're gonna eat today. It's not brain chemistry, not rocket surgery. Or they're the ones who are just fed up with them, the lot of them, right and left. Yeah, I'm not happy with the Democrats, but boy, the Republicans have driven me into their corner, you know? I said last live stream, I'm actually considering next election cycle. We'll see what happens between now and then, and we'll see who else is out there and available on my ballot. But I would actually consider voting for Joe Biden in this election. I absolutely did not in the last one, but I would consider it. And it's not just because, you know, lesser of two evils politics. It's because I look at COVID, I look at the economy post-COVID, I look at the amount of money that has been spent. It increased by like $2 trillion across this past across these past 2 years per year. The amount of money that is being spent now that wasn't spent in 2020 to provide the American citizenry with the resources that they need in order to, you know, get back on our feet and to maintain during the continuing endemic of COVID. And I look at the fact that motherfucker Biden, his administration, his people, secured a lot of fucking money for my home city, sitting in right now, city of Detroit, and that the money that they secured is the only reason why our schools are going to be funded before 2040 something. That the city of Detroit's officers had no plans for that. They're more interested in locking our tax dollars up in tax incremental funds downtown than, you know, making sure that the libraries are open or that the schools have books and shit. And I see that the federal government in Joe Biden's administration here has managed to secure what the people who live in my fucking neighborhood need in order to have the slightest vapor of hope or opportunity. And I say, well, he had a lot of hard work to come into to fight when he walked in after Trump's handling of everything. And he's done a lot of shit. he's secured a lot of stuff that I would have thought was going to be real difficult, and that also I would have thought that good old Joe there, you know, would have been against based on his policy record as a Democratic senator. Okay, one more. Shit. It's all height. Well, we're not on PB pace anyway. Do this. Bam. Try to come at it real fast. Running a ship of fire and it's leaking, I think he does the best he can, I feel. I mean, I stayed out of, I stayed away from all of the news around Ukraine, because just didn't want to get involved in it. Looked dirty, looked like a lot of people shouting at each other on either side. It's a war, you know, it's not going to help anything one way or another with me sitting here thinking about it. And from the outside of the news cycle and everything, I don't appear to have any problems with Biden's handling of Ukraine. I haven't heard all the news, but what I have heard, nothing sounds like ridiculous or unwarranted or bad policy or anything like that. I heard that we refused to provide Ukraine with long-range missiles. I don't know, because I heard it. I don't know where, so don't quote me there, but we refused to provide Ukraine with long-range missiles. And, you know, that's a very touchy argument kind of thing. But I also heard that the UK, I think I was told the UK, but, you know, people confuse it, it might have been the EU, but that they provided Ukraine with long-range missiles. So, it's like, not an issue then, is it? You know, not that big of a deal. In terms of my own considerations, and knowing the way that politics works on the interior, you know, that could have been a consideration of our administration, of whether or not the U.S. should be seen to be aiding Ukraine in this way when we know that we have allies somewhere else who are going to aid them that way, for whom it's a lesser issue, you know, that kind of a thing. So, I don't, you know, a lot on this administration's plate following the attempted overthrow of the American government, the number of offices that were gutted by Trump's administration, including, you know, the one that would have helped us handle COVID. The amount of deregulation and defunding of all of the things that are necessary. Something that I feel never got talked about enough. I don't know if I ever heard anybody really talking about it, but in February, in late February or early March, I was probably on one of these live streams saying, okay, mark my words right now, because we now know that COVID is a thing. It's a pandemic. It's global. It's huge. It's a problem. We're, you know, it's going to be a fucking thing. And we're going to be locked indoors and shit like that. They know that, and they knew it a month earlier in the federal government. So, mark my words, I would have been saying back then, Trump has, from here until November, he's got 6-7 months to prepare our democracy so that elections can take place. Because that was I was immediately aware of that. We're in an election year, people are being told to stay indoors, this is going to be a thing, COVID, and it's an election year, and we usually stand in lines outside of buildings and go in and share the space and breathe the same air and all that kind of stuff. It's immediately obvious and immediately apparent to anyone who's got two brain cells to rub together in winter for heat. These elected officials of our federal government with constitutional oaths and responsibilities knew, even earlier than we did, what we were in for. And they had all that time to prepare for it. And sure enough, come like late May, early June, Trump started talking about maybe we just won't have elections this year. That was his response. He had 7 months in order to secure the democracy of the American public, and instead, he did nothing and did nothing and did nothing and did nothing. And then when we first heard from him on the subject, it was, well, maybe for the public safety we just shouldn't have an election and I'll just stay in power. And then he laughed like that after. You remember that on CNN? That is that is the man that we're talking about, who was elected in part on the virtue of Look at that. I still stayed alive. Who came into office after securing espionage from a foreign state and injecting it into the political process for no good reason, incidentally. There was apparently nothing in those emails, nothing in Hillary's emails that showed that, ooh, we don't want to be voting for her. I mean, you get all those emails out, didn't find anything that was, like, damning. I guarantee you, if you got fucking more than 8 emails out of Trump's inbox, you're gonna find some shit that's like, really? How does he know Lucifer? Directly? Wow, they're going out for lunch? Weakened the security, the national security of the United States of America by colluding and conspiring with a foreign state in order to receive and release espionage conducted by a foreign state into the public to no benefit of the public in order to try and discredit his opponent in a way that had nothing to do with her. It was not her responsibility to know, you know, fucking database security, you know? The biggest blame you can say is that she didn't understand the technology enough to know, like, she didn't know what she would have needed to know, in order to, and you go, oh, wait, well, it's not really her job, and if we're gonna blame anybody for that, it should be the NSA and the tech department of the American government, the tech people of the American government, for not, you know, demanding that she abide by these certain standards, or that if she's going to maintain her own email server, then we're going to do these things. I said it all yesterday. Or not yesterday, last live stream. But I'm saying it again, because we've got a man who got his office on a conspiracy with a foreign state to undermine American democracy, who then, when American democracy was threatened by a natural disaster of COVID, damn it, that could have been PB. I mean, it would have been almost nothing in terms of PB, but it could have been PB. When there was a global emergency that threatened American democracy, did absolutely fucking nothing about it, and then tried to use it, and in fact undermined the United States Postal Service in an election where it was going to be as important as it had ever been. Oops, we're in the wrong world now. As important as it has ever been for Americans to be able to get to their polls, or rather to get to the polls via the USPS, via, what's a better word for that? Via something ballot. What the fuck is the word? God damn it. Via the ballots that are, you know, my brain does this occasionally. I just can't remember words. Via the mail. But I was thinking of, absentee. There you go, absentee ballot. This is the guy. From day one. Day one, this motherfucker tried to undermine democracy. In the middle, once he'd won by undermining democracy, he attempted to undermine democracy. And then when that didn't get him the election, when he was proved that even when he was trying to, like, the amount of damage that he did to the natural operations of democracy in this country, and he still couldn't, after cheating and breaking all the laws and breaking all the rules and firing the person who's in charge of the USPS and putting someone in who decides to throw out all of the equipment for sorting mail the day before the election kind of thing. Even with all of that anti-democratic, all of these attempts to overthrow democracy, still couldn't win. He's that lame of a duck. Holy shit. How much cheating do you have to do in order to win, Don? And then, once he had absolutely, fully, and totally, and decidedly, and conclusively lost, according to, everyone, including his own people and the investigative committees that the Republicans themselves put together to try and find evidence, and could not find any to support or substantiate any of those claims. Then he gets together a group of rowdy Klansmen and sends them to the fucking Capitol building to literally kill the people who are trying to count the ballots that are going to prove that he's a big loser. And we're still having conversations. This man isn't in jail at time of present. I'm sure there's, about 44% of America who thinks that he's going to be, you know, president at the next election cycle. But yeah, I usually try and find somebody to vote for who's actually worth voting for, based on their policies and you know, based on what they're saying they would do if they had the power. You know, I'd rather support someone who's going to lose, but who actually represents my interest and represents my politics. And I will vote for a third-party candidate. At time of present, I am willing to vote for Joe Biden, because I think he's done a hell of a job considering everything that he was up against, and he has literally helped me and my neighbors, and my neighbors' children, to have school in Detroit, which was not guaranteed based on the operations of our mayor and city council. So, yeah. Joe's on my short list. I don't know who else is there, because thankfully we haven't... Fuck, that was so good! I just wanted to maintain the height and going as fast as I could. Because we haven't entered that election cycle, even though it seems constant in America. The election cycles. Hit! Go in. Get out here. Throw it! What a goal on a kind of slow opener. I don't think I can open on that slow of an opener now. I think I need a low 6 or a sub 6. And make no mistake, I have given up on the hope of these methods getting me 3rd rank. TF has got 3rd rank at this point. I would have to learn the, you know, all of these and do all of them, and I'm not going to. But we have more time to save than what I've saved. Make no mistake about that. 5.7, we open exactly the way we do. 5.2, I got a decent throw. It's a little bit more height than distance than I want, but it gets us there and not too slowly. 5.3, definitely could have gone better. This is just kind of an average throw. 5.4, though, came in like a motherfucker, because I took a little bit extra time to set it up. Did that time count against me so much that we lose? We fall off of the truck anyway? Yes, apparently is the answer to that one. I'm still going to run it. Reset coming into 5.6, step down, turn around, get yourself thrown to goal immediately. We can pull this time back. Right here. Okay, that's good. That's good. Get under it, but maintain your height. Go straight to goal on it. Thank you. Down here. Fuck! Okay, I got it on the 2nd attempt, which is not at all helpful. And then you, sir. Out here. This is a dead run. I know. I don't think I don't know. Can I land that truck? Where's that truck going? No, I can't. Alright, never mind. Would have been a fun way to take it in anyway. It'll be DeSantis versus Biden 2024. Make your choice. DeSantis is the Florida plague rat. I'm saying I want to see the choices that aren't the Democrats, that are, you know, more actually left than the Democrats. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying I'll be choosing between Republican satanic motherfuckers and the Democrats. I'm saying I'm not voting for Biden as an assurity if there's somebody else there. And they might want to, you know... It's such a fucking shame for Bernie Sanders is what it is. It's such a fucking bullshit setup for Bernie. He's done the work, he's been the guy, he is the dude, he's got the fucking chops, he cares, he's shown that he cares. He's about the poorest millionaire on the hill, you know, for whatever that's worth. And it's worth something in my book. And it's just bullshit. It's just absolute bullshit, because now, you know, if it's between Biden and Bernie, there's no fucking question. Bernie every day. Bernie every day of the week, all day of the week. But, Biden's in for another, you know... Biden is the fucking Democratic candidate. Which means that Bernie will be fucking dead by the time... I mean, if he's not dead, he'll be too old. And it's just a fucking... It's like watching a man do everything right his whole life and be a public servant, and then at the end of the day, people who were supposed to be in his corner, telling him, well, and that's it. Just whelp. That's all they got for him. Well, Bernie, we don't have the testicles in order to actually support somebody who believes the things that we campaign on. So, yeah. Sorry, bud. Good life, though, that you did there. Nice actual caring about people and about these issues. Well, the rest of us couldn't be bothered to. But because you did care, you can't go to the big show. Sorry, bud. Sorry. We've got, you know, bunch of assholes here who have sucked the dick of middle-right voterships all their fucking lives, and they're the ones who are going to the big show. Sorry. You who deserve it, stay home. The make room. The guy who put the crack cocaine and powder cocaine disparity on the law book is coming through. Make room for the dude whose racist policies have made the country worse for the past 25 years. He's our Democratic candidate. We all need to get behind him. But I'm saying, I'll consider voting for him after I look at independent, you know, options. I didn't even consider voting for him the first time around. Good evening, sir. Breaking more records, I see, says Oregon CRX. Well, maybe. We've got one rank. We've come up to fourth. Wait, no. Yeah, we got fourth rank out of this thing. This category is so hyper specific in its PTBs, though. TF has third rank, and there's too many seconds between where we are now and what we could possibly get not doing them, and I am not up for learning them, let me tell you. I am not interested in spending the amount of time that it would take to learn those methods when I could just do this. So right now I'm just trying to PB to have a bit of a deeper cut on that same fourth rank that we've got, but I got no illusions that I could take TF without learning everything that he learned. Fuck. That truck next to us, I think, is problematic if I'm too close to the edge like that. This isn't good. Three and a half behind? Yeah, there's no time save to be had that will bring that back. Damn it! I overturned. I haven't gotten a 5-10 since we PB'd, I don't think. We've come in on runs, but nothing with green time. We have been 0.0, I think. So apparently it was a good run that I had on my PB attempt that we got. You can definitely see the green time that's there to save, and it's an easy 2 seconds is what I would say. If we can piece together my intended delivery on all these levels, leaving just a little bit of time here and there. You know, I'm not saying everything's got to be perfect, but if we leave just a little bit of time here and there, then I think we could get the better part of 2 seconds. Let's say 1.8. Like, the fact that 5.2 got us time save is almost painful. 5.3 as well, my god. Okay, I managed to get speed off of the back of that truck's tires as it jumped me, or as I jumped off of it, which is the only reason why we kept green time there. Awesome. I saw the possibility, but... Oh, yes. Is that gold? You tell me. Oh, fuck. This is all of it. It was not gold, and our 5.5 was so good. Oh, that's a big problem there. All right, I know, because I've been ranting the whole time, so I haven't even been paying attention to what we actually need. Now I got a better idea what we need. Number one, get a good 5.2. Get a good 5.2. Come on in with this. 6 or sub. No. That doesn't work for me. I'm actually sweating here today, too. It's a nice heat, though. Nice heat today. That is not as good as I could have it, but I'll take it. That's a really good 5.3. And a really good 5.4. And a really good 5.5. Probably not as good as PB, though, because that one was fucking amazing, apparently. And a really good 5.6. A little bit late on the setup of 5.7, but I think it's paying off here in terms of getting us there fast. Yes. Bad 5.8. Didn't get the kind of speed we've seen before. Gotta go this way, go around, come through. This is a good 5.9, I think. Now just get 5.10. Fucking goddamn it! That was our time save. That was our PB. Right there. And 5.10. I don't know how close to get. I just knew that I wanted to be closer than I thought I needed to be. And I think I got too close and it spawned the truck on the side of me because of that. God damn it. I just still don't have like anything that's provable and reproducible for this, if I'm honest. There is that. I wonder if that's something that has been implemented in the run, you know, by Emily. Where do we get that? You drop down here, do like that, and then you do a pause PTB. Damn. Then you could get like instant teleported to the goal. But that's not what I'm going to be doing anyway, so stop practicing it. Come on out here. Give me 1, 2 labs, and then throw. That's the kind of thing that we need when we get there. Damn. That felt like it. That felt like it, and then it wasn't. 6.2. A little bit slow for a start. Good. Because otherwise I would have been running with significant time loss. Just because I'm a little bored with it. Nice 6.0. I mean, I can run on it. I know it's less than PB, but I can run on it. Really good 5.3 once I got it off. The amount of time it took getting it off hurts us. Oh, but it golded, so I guess it didn't hurt us. Gotta get a real good 5.5 here for him. Because it's amazing in PB. We didn't get an amazing one. So we're losing time there. But our 5.6 is good. I can't take that long to set anything up. I know it's important that I get this right. But I can't take that long to set anything up. Alright, sum of best down to 107. Our sum of best is just barely better. Right? Back here. TF has a 108. Our sum of best is 107. There's 1.7 seconds between our sum of best and his third rank run. So without those methods, it ain't happening. But they don't stop me from putting in the PB I know I can take. Just because it isn't a victory over another human being doesn't mean it isn't worth doing. And that's something the Republican Party has yet to figure out. I was just thinking about that today, too, you know, the argument 15 years ago? I'd like to believe it was longer ago than it probably was, but the talk that you'd hear about, you believe they're giving participation trophies to every kid that plays in a sport now? You know? How are kids supposed to learn that they need to strive for something if everybody gets a fucking trophy from that kind of thing? It's like, oh my god. It's always been like this, hasn't it? It's always been a group of people who want to indoctrinate other people into a way of thinking that is based on might makes right. Biggest kid gets to make the rules, you know? Jesus Christ. It's like they wanted their children to be indoctrinated into a set of ideas and ideals that says if you're not number one, then you're not worth much. That the only virtue in participating in anything taking place is if you win. Otherwise, you're just one of the people who lost. Fuck. To be these people's children, right? God damn. I thought there always was participation trophies. I don't think so. I mean, I know that there was a big, like, it was one of those big bullshit issues, but it just hung around for years and years and years, but, big bullshit issue of, people talking about it. Talking about the idea of, you know, the only person who should get a trophy is the one who won. God damn it. These, lonely loser dads who, trying to relive their youths and their failed attempts at being good at sports through their children. Doing psychological damage and suggesting that we should all do psychological damage to our children in order to encourage the right capitalistic mindset. If you don't win, then it wasn't even worth participating. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how you got there or who you had to do harm to in order to get there, as long as you got there. Same thing with the fucking, you know, people out there talking about fucking, men these days have a reduced amount of testicles. Testosterone. Just this fucking, these conversations, these misogynistic. I know, but fuck it. What could it hurt? We've missed it every time. We're not on green time anyway. Huh? Close? No, not at all. No, we can't take a 6'4". I want to take like maybe a 6'2" some of the time, but 6'4" is too much. Too much time loss over the 5'7" we've got in PB. Okay, a little bit more turn and that would have worked. A little bit more turn. I think the only reason that didn't work is because I'd already touched the death plane. Like, I'm wondering if I could make this happen even faster by just, like, cutting the corner, turning and throwing even before I'm in a good position for it. But I'm not worried about it. I'll take that 6'2". I said I'd take a 6'2". to get one started. Ah, damn it, the timer isn't going. Well, I'll time it with split RP if we need to. I'll tell you whether or not we've got to run. This undermines the possibility of a run, but we're still on green time. This 5.5 was good enough to compete with PB, so I'm going to say we're still on green time. Fuck. Alright, we lost the run. What? Well, I just bounced that instead of running it. No, sir. I don't like it. No, sir. I don't like it. 5.9. That's runnable. Ooh, this is kind of too low. Nice 5.3 after a bit of a long setup. But you see how if I do take the time to set it up, we get a better throw. Like I didn't on 5.4, and look where we are. And it's kind of a crappy 5.5 to compete with our incredible one we had in PB. Yeah, we lose 7/10 of a second. But we're taking something back here. I should think, yeah. And then this could work if I can land it. Yeah, that's good. I think we're still green, and now I'm fucked. Now it's all over. God damn it. 1 millisecond too long. Holding the forward key walks us off the truck, costs us 2.5 seconds worth of death, probably. Yep. And there's our good 110. 510. You can see, you see how I can get this though, right? I just gotta hold it together for 10 levels. And maybe what I'll do at this point is slow down on all of my setups. Make sure I've got a good lineup, make sure I like the mouse position. That was my finger just not responding. Oh, that's good. A 5.6, it's actually beats PB. And I didn't do the thing I said I was going to do, where I set it up nicely and make sure we get a good time. Do it on the snow. Okay, that's decent. Get a real one here, though. That's a real one. No lev and out. I shouldn't have reset there. It's just wasted time. And it's a bad throw. It's a lot of time lost. This is the one I was supposed to reset on, and then I forgot to do it because I did the last one. Okay, that's a good 5.7. A lot of turn I had to put into that to bring it back. And 5.10. Damn it. We could have PB'd. And 5.10 would have come in. I just don't know what... I have no idea what to do different here, you know? I've just never... I don't think I've ever found anything that was consistent for me. It's too much floating in midair, deciding how close you should be, and then if you're not in the right spot, you're just not in the right spot to throw it, and it's like you can't... You're just gonna lev there for another couple of seconds in order to try and find another good spot. There's no movement that's ever worked out for me for consistency on 5.10. coming up on 3 hours. You guys want to keep going? Are you guys having fun? Like, I have stopped ranting about, you know, government. At least, mostly. I'm sure it'll come back. Wait a couple of minutes, but... You guys want to keep going? Because, we'll either take a live stream break or we'll wrap it up. Sido with the sub. Yeah. I wish I could auto-renew my Prime sub. Thank you so much for the 7 months. I don't care if you're on a streak or not. Twitch does, though. Twitch loves it. I appreciate those of you who are on a streak, those of you who prefer to wear clothing. You know, we all make our choices, and some of us are wrong. It's slow, but it got in. And we had enough time saved to lose something, so we're still on a run right now. This is way too slow. I have to drop a truck just to have a hope and a prayer. Well, I got in. It's another way to prove that 510 hates me. And then once I finally got it, it was like a horrible hit. You don't want this hit if you're on a speed run. 12-second clear off of that hit. Yeah. It's great. I'm having fun watching, but I am sad there's no ranting. Did my man just say Greer? Did I? I don't know. I don't know what I said. I try and not listen to myself. That's why I got you guys here. Other thing is, I gotta remember to note down. I'm genuinely gonna note in my logs that I had the weirdest fucking experience. You don't take a 6-6. You don't run on a 6-6, and your timer's frozen. I had the weirdest experience during this live stream of being a half second. It depends on how you want to describe it, ahead or behind what was going on, because I felt like it had already happened before I had done it. I opened up 5-1, and before I felt my fingers press the button, I was watching the button. I was watching my character do the thing and complete the trick, and it was like, whoa, that freaked me out. Okay, you gotta get good ones, so pay attention, especially on this one. Excellent. Killing it, crushing it. Anybody else ever had that experience? Because this is the first time in my life, and I've had a lot of weird experiences. I'm a former Buddhist monk. I was meditating earlier today. Okay? I've had a lot of stuff that's like, holy shit, can I even describe what just happened? Well, sitting on a mat doing nothing. I've experienced a lot of shit, but I've never experienced a delay in perception that made me feel like I was, I don't know, observing something that was happening without me. Something I was doing that was happening. Out-of-body gaming experience. Absolutely. It was something like that. Look at that, huh? We can't run on it, but that was cool. It was something like that. OBG? OBGE? OBGEYN? Alright. That was just bad. I've had that kind of thing, but I was extremely tired then. Yeah, this was just a really weird fucking moment of disconnect where it's like... I mean, it's just an extreme form of what's, you know, absolutely going on here. Like, there's only a certain amount of my conscious mind that is participatory in this process, right? Like, I can't be complaining about the Republicans and doing all of the things that I'm doing right now. Because it's muscle memory, it's subconscious actions, it's response to the same visual stimuli. All of that is happening. And then you as a human being feel like you're at the helm, right? You feel like you're at the wheel. Perhaps your conscious mind is, imagine this. Imagine your conscious mind is actually so far behind your subconscious mind that you are imagining that you are in control. That you are imagining that you wanted to do that thing that's already been done by the time you catch up to it. And what about that? You know? I mean, all of your experience is imaginary. You're not actually seeing what you're seeing. You're experiencing an image that you've imagined in your mind's eye based on light that you presume is real and is being captured by the organelle of your eyeball, right? So it's all imaginary, and your role in it is similar. You could entirely be sort of rewriting your own memory to pretend as though you were actually present for the things that you were doing. You were making those decisions. What I experienced there in our out-of-body gaming experience that I had earlier was you could argue that that was actually the real experience. Like, that's what's actually going on here. You felt as though things were happening and had already happened by the time you thought you were doing them. That you've already done what you were planning on doing before you got there. That's reality. Ooh-wee-oo. Oh, why did I drop a truck? I totally didn't need to. I do hear, though. Ooh, we got another gold on 5-3, down to 106.95 in the SOB. Are we talking about dissociation, says Penguin God? We are. I had a dissociative sort of moment of time distension. I don't know, time lapse. We did my PB. I feel like it was really quickly after my PB. We got my big PB that dropped us down there. I came back into the game, and I was watching the screen, and I saw my character step forward down the truck, turn around, walk forward, and go. And I had not felt... I hadn't done that yet. In my mind, I had not done that. I was going to do that, but I hadn't actually done it yet. I don't presume anything is real or unreal because it's impossible to prove either of those things. Indeed. Indeed. Everything is a state of consciousness, it's a state of perception. There's no way of proving that you exist. You say you think, therefore I am, but you could be, you know, the dream of someone else who's imagining themselves as you. When you go away, are you really you? You can't prove that anything exists. You can't take a photograph or a videotape and say, there's the evidence, because who would you show the photograph to? The people who you were imagining you could look at after having imagined there's such technology as photographs, and having imagined that you took a photograph using it and are now presenting it to other people who exist outside of you? How can you prove any of it? It's just as likely. Fuck! That was a good 5-7 opener. It's just as likely, considering how often most of us report dreaming, that this is just a long version of one of those. Everything is a state of gaming. Yeah. Good 5-4. Low, speedy, directional. I like it. Same thing about 5-5. I like it. I was supposed to reset there. I knew there was something. My brain was like, what is it? What am I supposed to do here? I don't know. Okay, clear that. Come down a little bit, and you're in with this. Just lev to the goal. And we're on some green time. Can I do this? Nope. It's a tricky one because of this go out and around and come back, and I need like a big chunk of it. I didn't get it. We will try and finish because we need the practice in 5-10. Although if I get a good 5-10 out of here, it'll be like, well, there's my one for the fucking, hour and a half. Probably be a bad thing. But that's how close we're getting to PB. I said if we're going to stick around and keep running, then I want to take a live stream break. So now's the time for it. But I'll be honest with you. I think I'm going to call it today. And maybe we come back to Medieval next live stream and do it for like an hour. But don't let me just keep running on it constantly, because I'd rather go on to Ancient World, and we've already got the best ranking that we're going to get on these leaderboards, unless somebody else submits right now. We can see that I can pick up, probably 2 seconds worth of time using these methods at my level of run and level of skill for this on this segment. But we're not going to grab a new rank unless I decide to train different methods that I'm not interested in training. So I would rather move on to World 6, but maybe we end the stream now, and then we come back next stream. I run this segment a little bit at the beginning, see if it doesn't just click together and we get, a quick PB off of it, and then we'll move on to World 6. That's my plan. But yeah, there's a part of me that wants to keep streaming. There's a part of me that's feeling physically like, let's call it a day for today. So I'm going to go with call it a day for today. For I am the Ronin Bull. Existence is 5% cat, 5% gaming, 5% politics, 85% epic gaming. There we go. To be fair, I have had a dream where I was dreaming in my dream and woke up in my dream just to wake up later in real life. Huh? What about the possibility that this is a dream that we are all having together, a shared dream? Then you get into simulation theory, and it's like, then you can just justify anything, really, which is fun. But, thank you all for coming out. I hope to see you at the next live stream, and we will pick this up for a little bit, see if I can't get that 2-second time save, or 1-point-something second time save that I want out of this world, move on to the next world, Ancient. We are going to do segment PBs across every segment of the game. World 7, 8, and 9, I never even submitted a PB, so we're going to get those pretty free, and we're going to have to decide what rank we want to stop at taking. And when we're done with that, well, there will be nothing ahead of us except for running the full game at any percent. So stick with me across these next few weeks, because it's going to get hot in here. Pretty good outro, right?